Welcome back from Clipper Magazine Stadium, along with Eric May. Dave Collins with you as we get a look at the starting lineup tonight for the Charleston Dirty Birds. Much the same as we saw over the weekend. The Barnstormers have to come up with a way to keep Alfredo Gonzalez in the ballpark. He homered 4 times and drove in 10 runs in the first 3 games of this series. A very productive weekend for the Charleston catcher and third baseman. And you take a look at the Barnstormers defense. Again, it's the same as we've seen the past couple of games. The only real option that Ross Peoples has right now is alternating the catcher, Anthony Peroni, the designated hitter, Tyler Hill. They have swung back and forth between the catching role and the DH role, but Ross is pretty limited otherwise right now, and hopefully he will get another body in tomorrow. He's working on it. We may have an outfielder coming in tomorrow.
Well, yeah, between checking the waiver wires, looking at potential trades, I mean, this team is working on a razor-thin bench. I mean, one player, and as well as Lancaster has been playing, and they have been playing good baseball, right now they only have a 1-game lead over Staten Island in the second half of the season. So they've got to keep the pedal to the metal until Ross can find some additional bodies to help out this team.
1-game lead over Staten Island, and they trail by 1.5 in the wild card race. Wild card right now looks fairly likely. Gastonia still unbeaten in the second half.
Yeah.
The Honey Hunters are 11-0, and nobody else remotely close to them in the South. Charleston is 4-8 here in the second half, 30-48 overall. They've got a lot of work to do to make it to the postseason. Here is the slender Nick Heath leading off tonight for the Dirty Birds. 226 hitter with 3 home runs. One of those came over the weekend here.
And De La Cruz, a good outing his last time out. In fact, he's pitched well here at his last 4 outings here at Clipper Magazine Stadium.
He has 4 quality starts on the year. De La Cruz, big right-hander, 6'6", 250-pounder from the Dominican Republic. His first pitch is fouled away, and it is strike 1. Overall, you saw De La Cruz 4-1. He's gotten his ERA under 5, and he's averaged more than a strikeout per inning. But can he do it against Charleston? Because we have seen this is a very stubborn offense. Heath with a high fly ball out to left field. Starting back and now coming in is Torrance. Devon with the catch. 1 man down, and the second baseman, Jose Rosario, will step to the plate.
Oh, you like to see that, a couple of pitches, and you get that leadoff guy out. In the last couple of games, we've seen Charleston's leadoff hitter just really work Lancaster's pitchers.
Here is the second baseman, Jose Rosario, tough out in this series. 4 for 8 with some walks, not as many as Torrance and Lair, but some walks. 1 out, nobody on base. We'll talk about that when the Barnstormers step in, but that's surreal.
I don't think anybody's drawn as many walks as those two.
1 ball, no strikes to the right-handed batting second baseman. De La Cruz into his motion and drops it across, took something off, and it's 1-1. De La Cruz pitched in the Mets organization a year ago. He's been with the Cubs, as high as AAA. Down low, he went off speed there, and it's 2 balls and a strike to Rosario with Alfredo Gonzalez on deck. And Gonzalez has been a big part of the story of this series. Swing and a miss. Oscar coming up and in with the fastball. Now working to Rosario, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Thankfully, the last game, when he was batting, bases were empty.
And now ball 3. It's 3-2 actually. You don't want to give up a walk here. Not with the damage that Gonzalez has done. And he's hit a ball up onto the deck. He's hit a ball to the backyard, but he's hit 2 up onto the hill and left. 3-2 pitch coming, and he does walk him. So what is it with some of the hitters in this series? Rosario did not walk at all on Sunday, but that is now the 6th he has drawn. Lair with 9, Torrance with 8. Now, here comes Alfredo Gonzalez. Gonzalez has hit in the 3 games over the weekend for the home run cycle. Jeez. A solo shot, a 2-run homer, 3-run homer, and a grand slam. I do know of a guy who did it in 1 game.
What?
Tyrone Horn. One time Harrisburg Senator did it. I think he was playing for Arkansas in the Texas League. Check swing. He didn't go. It's ball 1, 1-0.
Those are nice fantasy stats. Holy smokes. You would think after the second home run that maybe they'd be a little more selective in pitching around him, unless that was the grand slam in his 3rd at bat.
Infield at double play depth. 1 out, 1 on, 1-0. And this is popped up. So it looks like they have him this time. Anderson Felice behind second base, squeezes. 2 outs. Rosario will stay at first, and the first baseman, Nick Longy, comes in.
How long is that thing up in the air? My gosh. So did you get to actually call it? Or were you a...
No, I only knew about it. I was not there. I was not there. You know, I called a home run that Horn hit that during my 9 years in Bowie, 8.5 or 7.5 seasons at Prince George's Stadium, I believe was the longest home run I ever saw hit there. And Tyrone was not a tall guy. He was only maybe 5'9", 5'10".
Wow.
He caught hold of an Armando Benitez fastball in the playoffs. And I truly believe he hit it to the next county, which actually wasn't that far. We were right on the county line, but still. 0-1. Taylor Cruz starting off Longy with a breaking ball. Now comes back. Down and in with the fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Longy just 1 for 6 in this series and did not play on Sunday. He came out of Saturday's game midway through, but back in the lineup tonight. A ball and a strike. The pitch is lifted foul, out of play down the right side. And we go to 1-2 with Angel Beltre, the left fielder, left-handed batter, waiting on deck. Beltre also sat out on Sunday.
Did you catch any of the home run derby last night?
I did. I was very kindly invited over to Kristen Simon's house for dinner last night. Ball 2 is down low just a little bit, 2-2. And watched some of the home run derby with them. I watched the first round for Alonso, watched Albert Pujols.
Yeah, nice little ride there for Pujols in that. Whoa.
High ball 3, runner goes. The throw from Peroni quite a bit late. And I thought Mercedes was just play acting, but the ball did get through into center field. So Rosario with the steal. It's his second. 3-2 the count on Longy as Charleston now has itself set up for a run. Man in scoring position with 2 outs. Charleston in the yellow jerseys tonight, which we have not seen on the field anyway in this series. I've seen them hanging up downstairs.
I like them because the numbers are easy to read.
The black on yellow is just a little easier than teal on gray.
Although I look at them and I think of the New Britain Bees.
Exactly. And Gastonia.
Yes.
3 ball, rounds a foul up the first base side. Very quickly it is 0-2 on Sean, and Gunn trying to come out and just establish the strike zone early on here. He is from Wilson, Arkansas, 29 years of age, 6'1", and a 220-pounder. I like the idea of a pitcher named Gunn. 0-2. Low and outside. It is 1 ball and 2 strike. At least better than a pitcher named Ball, because that just throws me for a loop every time.
I'm sure you'll come up with some things here before he is done on the night.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Mercedes and Cordero will follow. In the dirt again. Dunston could have run, but decides not to. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
What they need to do is if somebody does try and get on base, they should have that clip of Harold Reynolds and then just throw that up on the screen. It's a base hit. Although these guys aren't anxious to do that. They want to swing the bat.
And Dunston fouled at the plate, and this is not an atypical leadoff at bat for Sean. It's part of what's made him as valuable as he's been. Even if he makes an out starting off the ball game, he's generally up there for several pitches.
What I want to see, if he can keep this pace, his name now is going to start showing up on some of the leaderboards in various offensive categories.
2-2, the count on Dunston. Target set by Alfredo Gonzalez, and the pitch is ball 3. They don't want to put Dunston on here. The Barnstormers swiped 6 bases the other day off of the Dirty Birds. It's a club that's relying a lot more on the team's speed now because the power has been largely taken out of the lineup with the 2 injuries and the 1 contract being purchased. So this is a team built on speed, built on getting on base and running the bases. 3-2 pitch, and that is a shallow pop fly out to center. Racing in and making a nice play is the center fielder Nick Heath, and there is 1 down.
And yet another broken bat.
Melvin Mercedes will be stepping in from the right side.
What is it about these broken bats? I just don't get it.
If they're using maple, and then it makes sense. Maple bats tend to break faster than the ash bats do. Mercedes steps in. 15-game hitting streak for Melvin. He's had 1 in each of the first 3 games of this series. Gun to the plate, and Mercedes will take low. It's a ball to him, 1-0. He is now 5 away from the franchise record, jointly held by Matt LeCroy and Caleb Gindel.
16's a nice number.
1 ball and no strikes to Mercedes. Gun to the plate, and that is slightly off the mark. 2-0. No score, bottom of the first inning. Charleston got a runner to second base on a walk and a steal. And the Barnstormers have, as a team, 28 stolen bases in these last 11 games, all here at home. It's not to say that they can't hit home runs, but the power certainly is limited when you don't have Dugan, Clark, and Shaver.
Well, that just goes to show you've got to adapt to the changes, and this ball team has done that, and they've done it very well. They know that if they get guys on base, they have to manufacture the runs.
2 balls, 1 strike on Mercedes. Gun will fire. That is slightly low. Mercedes also a guy capable of drawing a lot of walks. He's among the league leaders. Batting at 3-1 with 1 out, nobody on base. Andretti Cordero is the on-deck hitter. Here's the motion and the 3-1. Taken for a second strike on the outside corner. So Gunn has gone to full on each of the first 2 batters here tonight. And we've seen so much of that in the first 3 games of this series. 9 hours, 46 minutes for 24 innings. It's taking some time. Ball 4 inside and low. The Barnstormers get a runner on, and don't think Mercedes isn't taking off. When Melvin was batting in front of Kelly Dugan, he hardly ever ran. Now it's different. Cordero's largely a singles and doubles hitter. He's not the home run hitter that Kelly is. He is just a very consistent run producer, but you like having the man in scoring position. So all of a sudden, Mercedes has become a base stealer again. He is up to 12 on the season. And out of those 12, 5 have come in about the last week and a half. To Cordero, that's inside and low, and Mercedes won't have to steal second. It's given to him. And the Barnstormers have the man in the scoring position. We'll get a precise ruling as to whether that one is wild pitch or pass ball. I would lean toward wild pitch, but And I think that's the way the call's going to go.
Yeah. That thing just dropped right out of the strike zone and went way inside.
1-0, the count on Cordero with a runner at second. It is officially a wild pitch. And now Cordero with a bouncer off the glove of Gunn. He can't find it. And the ball rolling away toward the third base side. A base hit before anyone can get there.
Well, the instincts for Gunn is, yeah, you try and field that, but if he doesn't get it, Gorris was headed towards second base. He probably would have had a play on it.
Yes. He went high for it, came off the glove, and then Michael Gunn had absolutely no idea. And by the time his teammates could go, "You're getting warmer, you're getting colder, you're getting warmer," it was far too late. And the Barnstormers have runners at the corners for Trayvon Robinson, who's in from the right side.
But see, this is the other thing, too, that Lancaster's been able to take advantage of. You get the guys on base, and we've seen opposing pitchers having struggles throwing strikes, wild pitches, pass balls. That advances the runners, sets up Lancaster much better with runners on the bases.
To Robinson, a fastball outside, 1-0. Anderson Felice, another switch hitter waiting on deck. Robinson, as you see, overall batting .313. He's starting to pick up the pace from the right side. He's been deadly left-handed. 1-0. That is off the inside corner for ball 2. And of course, there are a lot of options here if you're Ross Peoples. Cordero is not the fastest guy necessarily. He's only stolen a couple bases. You can put him into motion, trying to break things up. 2-0, the count to Robinson. Gunn from the set delivers, and that is cut on and fouled away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Lancaster with an opportunity here in the first inning. One that they would love to take care of and get at least 1 man across.
Job right now is get Mercedes home.
2-1. Gunn to the set. Robinson with a fly ball out to right field. Do they test Seymour's arm? Here is the catch. Here is the runner coming. Here is the throw. And there is the tag. It's a double play.
Wow.
Seymour has a great arm, and he claims another victim in this series. I didn't know if the Barnstormers would take the gamble on that or not, but they did, with the fly ball being the second out of the inning. Heck of a throw to double up Melvin Mercedes, ending the inning. The Barnstormers leave 1, and we're still scoreless heading into the second. Second game in a row with an outfield assist for Anthony Seymour. He got Cordero at second base on Sunday afternoon, and now he tosses out Melvin Mercedes at the plate, and the play wasn't even all that close.
No, it really wasn't, but I like the call. I mean, why not put the pressure on the defense? Now, if there's nobody out, no, you stay at third base, but I like it.
Yeah,
the throw is just spot on.
Yeah, with that being the second out of the inning, Ross is going to take that gamble 9 times out of 10.
Here it is.
Take another look at it. Robinson with a fly ball. Remember, that's not all that deep. It looks like medium deep right field. It wouldn't be anywhere else. And an absolutely perfect throw into Gonzalez. Mercedes had nowhere to go.
Nope.
He tried to get around it, but couldn't.
Yeah, and the thing is, if that throw is just a little bit off, either up the third base line or towards home, away from home plate, yeah, maybe Mercedes is in. But the thing is, Seymour did the right thing. He got that running start towards home plate when he made the catch, and a beautiful throw.
Here is Angel Beltre, the left fielder, left-handed stick, stepping in. He takes a strike at his 0-1. De La Cruz deals down and in. 1-1. Goris and Yovan Gonzalez scheduled to follow. Top two, game 4 of the 6-game series against Charleston. All their games in Lancaster this season in one fell swoop. Ground ball, second base, handled by Mercedes. That is out number 1. And it brings on Diego Goris. Goris, 247 with a homer and 14 runs batted in. He had cleanup, did Goris here on Sunday. Barnstormers won that one 6-5. It got really dicey in the 7th inning. Goris struck out to end that inning. Fastball for a strike call. It's 0-1. Then Josh Graham and West Tunnel combined to retire the final 6. And in fact, final 7, because Graham polished off the 7th inning. 0-1. A second strike in on Goris. De La Cruz works ahead. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that game on Sunday, when you emphatically place your pen on the score sheet, you know things are getting a little tight.
Here comes the 0-2. De La Cruz with strike 3. 3 in a row taken. Second strikeout tonight for Oscar.
Great location, too.
And it will bring on Yovan Gonzalez, the designated hitter. He's at 268 with 4 homers and 26 runs batted in. Well, Oscar's gotten 5 out of 6, and if he can put pitches on that dime all night long, he's going to have a great evening. That was perfectly placed. The delivery, fastball again over the plate, and it's a strike on Yovan Gonzalez. Played with Scott Kelly in Somerset for quite a while. He and Kelly decided to stick around Charleston. A lot of those guys went with Mark Minikazi to the Genomes this year. Bouncer foul, it's 0-2. I'm wondering if we're going to have the annual Omo Rosario sighting and where he'll go. It was Charleston last year. Upstairs for a ball 1-2, and I really hope we do, because Omo's just one of my favorites.
If you had to make a guess, what do you think is the most amount of teams one guy has played for in this league?
I think it's 7. I think Bryant Nelson got to 7. I'd have to double check. Breaking ball is high, 2-2.
Well, that's why I asked, because you mentioned him the other day, and I'm thinking,
it was
okay,
at least,
he's played for a number of teams.
It was at least 6 for Nelly.
Wow.
2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs, nobody on base.
It's a lot of team stickers for your luggage.
All-time hits leader. Here is the 2-2. That's strike 3 call. De La Cruz is on fire, working with the plate umpire Bill Reuter. De La Cruz throws, and it's Pavlovian. The right arm comes up. 1-2-3 inning in the second. We still have no score. Oscar De La Cruz has been tremendous so far tonight. His mound opponent, Michael Gunn, found some trouble in the first inning, but then got the double play at home plate. So he has come out of it without a nick, and the base hit was an infield single off of his glove. The Barnstormers with Felice, Hill, and Peroni to step in the lower half of the second inning. Scoreless battle, which this has been a pretty high-scoring series, though I don't expect the Barnstormers necessarily to play a lot of high-scoring games the way this team is set up right now. They're more a club built to scratch and claw their way to 4-2 wins than they are to win the high-scoring games. But
when you think about it, this team has been scratching and clawing all season long.
Just keeping a team together.
And to the fact that they are now a 500 club at 39-39. I mean, what was the biggest difference between wins and losses? How many games were they under 500? What was the largest
11,
margin?
I think, was the worst. And it was not that long ago.
Right, and that's why you got to give this team so much credit for what they've done.
They've won 11 of their last 13. And called strike on Felice. It is 0-1. They were, I believe, 25-36, so they're 14-3 and 11-2.
Have you had a chance to talk to Anderson? How close to 100% is he feeling at this point?
Well, the fact that he's finally batting right-handed is a very good indication. Foul down the left field line. The count is 0-2 on Felice.
And Sunday, he was hitting the ball hard. He was making really good contact.
He was. He ended up 1 out of 4 with an infield hit, but a couple of loud outs. 0-2 from Gunn, taken low. Ball 1 and 2 strikes. The Barnstormers ultimately will face 4 left-handed starters in this series, 4 different ones. We saw Lawler on Friday, Adams on Sunday. Gunn is pitching tonight, and Denson Hall, having come over from Southern Maryland, will pitch on Thursday. Here is the 1-2, and Felice turns on that one and drives a foul down the left side. Continuing at a ball and 2 strikes.
You know, we've talked so much about him offensively, but kind of forgot just how much fun he is to watch defensively as well.
I've always thought he's a better infielder than he is an outfielder. He's fine in the outfield, but I think he's an excellent left side infielder. Certainly gives Ross some depth anywhere. 1-2 pitch in the air to the right side and shallow. Sprinting in is Seymour. He will make the grab, and there's 1 out. Now, Gunn has the Barnstormers hitting the ball in the air, getting underneath, not getting much on it. Here is Tyler Hill stepping in. Hill is 3 out of 7 since joining the Barnstormers. You get a look at the yellow and black of the Charleston Dirty Birds. They kept the yellow and blue colors in Charleston. Those are somewhat traditional, and it goes back to the days when the Charleston Charlies were the AAA affiliate of the Houston Astros. Back when they wore yellow and blue, like the uniforms of the Astros with the striping.
Oh,
and they were the red and orange.
Those are some of the worst uniforms.
And they brought those uniforms actually back on Saturdays last year. They were the old Charleston Charlie style uniforms. I doubt they were the same ones. No balls, 1 strike. And Hill with a chopper to third. Coming in on it is Burcham. High throw, but Longy holds the bag. 2 outs. And that'll bring on Anthony Peroni, the catcher. One of the I love baseball, and I love this small worldness of baseball. Bouncing ball over there. We got to stay for a picnic at Charleston after a Sunday game last year, just for a little while. It was how the guy got fed before we got on the bus and headed home. And while I was there, I started talking to one of the fans, and she was actually the daughter of somebody who played for the Charleston Charlies back in the 70s. And,
wow.
And I remembered the player, a guy by the name of Gary Cobb. I remembered him very, very well. Yeah, finished out his career in Charleston and ended up living there. And that was just such a delight to meet her and be able to talk about the old days of the International League back in the 70s. And I did my first official broadcast from Charleston, too, from the old Watt Powell Park. So there's a part of me, I have a great fondness for that city. 1-0. And Peroni will drive a ball to the right side, and again, it's headed for Seymour and an easy play. Nothing across for the Barnstormers in the second. We're through 2, still 0-0. Pitchers duel so far tonight between the Dirty Birds and the Barnstormers, but then again, Saturday's game started off this way. It was 1-0 Lancaster through 3, and the next thing we knew was a waterlogged 16-7 rain-shortened Barnstormers victory. Lancaster scored 15 runs in the middle 3 innings.
All right, so you got that one hiccup in what has been some tremendous starting pitching for this Lancaster squad.
And that start wasn't actually all that bad for Cameron Gann. He came out giving up only 1 run in 5 1/3 innings. He left the bases loaded. All 3 of those guys scored. Aker had an off night. So they ended up scoring 6 runs in the top half of the 6th to make it 8-7, and then the Barnstormers scored 8 runs in the bottom of the 6th. The inning had 24 batters and took over an hour. Sometimes it just happened. The rain was falling intermittently. The conditions got pretty messy. You don't know how hard it was for the pitchers to hit their stride. That was where we saw a lot of walks, top and bottom of that inning, especially in the bottom. Here's Scott Burcham, the 3rd baseman, 3 out of 10 in the current series. He had a big 2-run double off of Tyler Sullentrop here on Sunday. That was the biggest hit in their attempted comeback. Grounder along the line at 3rd. There is Lair. He'll set for the throw, and there's 1 out. Burcham grounding out against Oscar De La Cruz, and now Anthony Seymour will come to the plate. The right fielder has been extremely busy. He has 3 putouts and assist already tonight in 2 innings from right field. Well, you wonder if the Barnstormers aren't trying to go the other way with Gunn, but everybody's getting underneath it and just lobbing little fly balls out there. They're not getting anything on them. No wind to speak of tonight. It's not going to drive a ball in any particular direction. It is quite warm.
Yeah, breeze would be nice.
Called strike at his own 1. Temperatures in the 90s here in the Red Rose City today, and expected to be for the next 2 or 3.
But it's not oppressive, though, so I'm okay.
0-1 pitch. That is looped the other way in trouble. That's got to be 2 bases. Going after it is Torrance. He will not be able to keep Seymour away from second base. A double chipped over the head of the 3rd baseman, Trace Lair, and Seymour arrives in scoring position. There's just nothing you can do about it. The ball lands, kicks sideways.
Yeah. And this guy, once he gets his stride, he's gliding. It doesn't even look like he's running. He is just gliding and easily into second base with that double.
Brings on the center fielder, Heath. He fly to left his first trip. Well, De La Cruz, who had retired 6 straight, 3 on strikes coming into this inning, now has to stare down a runner in scoring position. 1 out in the inning. Heath stands in. This is popped up on the left side. Sprinting over is Lair, but he's forced to give up the ball behind the dugout. One strike to Heath. Decent turnout again tonight for a Tuesday. Silver Stormers night. Even with temperatures in the lower 90s, you can count on our 55 and over crowd to be here. I think that's one of the greatest promotions we've ever done. Ball is inside 1-1. And I've talked about it at whatever time that I do hang up the microphone. I'd want a plan just like this. To come out and just casually watch baseball about once a week. I would love it. I mean, I'd probably go more often. Runner goes for third. The pitch is a called strike. The throw by Peroni will be late. And now Seymour, with his 13th steal of the year, has worked his way to third. It is a ball and 2 strikes on Heath. There's not much the Barnstormers could do better this inning. A chip shot and then a pretty good break by Seymour. Maybe De La Cruz could have checked him once, but the throw wasn't bad. 1-2. Corners will play up.
I'll tell you what, the more I watch Seymour, the more I really like this guy.
And a balk is called. Did they call a balk? I thought that's what the word I heard, but apparently not. I guess he was just calling a timeout. First base umpire Steve Zawiski. Now the infielders will play in, and the breaking ball is popped up to short right. Back is Mercedes. He's got time. He'll make the catch, and Seymour says, I'm not going to return the favor, pal. Seymour threw out Melvin in the bottom of the first inning, and Anthony Seymour did not want to have Melvin Mercedes have the opportunity to do likewise here in a very short pop-up. And they got some jawing going on back and forth.
And that's a huge out for De La Cruz, too.
Now he's got to get through Rosario, and that has not been easy.
But he's working with 2 outs.
Breaking ball and a good one to start off Rosario.
So let me ask you something. When the season's over and you're home and you're watching postseason Major League Baseball, can you actually sit, or are you announcing in your head?
I really try not to. I try to take a break from it.
But you can't help. I mean, I sit there and I watch it, and I'll be calling the game in my head.
Ground ball right side. Mercedes fishing it out of the hole. He'll throw to first. And De La Cruz is out of the mild jam here in the top half of the third inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 left. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Still scoreless in Lancaster. No score as we go into the bottom of the third inning, and the pertinent question right now, can Michael Gunn continue to throw strikes? Because Trace Lair and Devon Torrance have done very little but walk in this entire series, and they have really set the stage from the bottom of the order for some very, very big innings for the Barnstormers here over the last few days.
It kind of stolen the thunder of the guys at the top of the lineup with all these base on balls. But like you said, though, with Lair, yes, he has drawing the base on balls, but he's now also getting on base with base hits, which is even a better sign.
Yeah, around all the walks, he's 6 out of his last 7. The average up to 227 now on the year. He just is not a sub 200 hitter.
Yeah.
It puzzled him. It was puzzling everybody what he was doing down there for as long as he stayed down at that level.
Well, if there's a silver lining to, guys like Clark and Dugan getting hurt, it's additional players getting some extra swings, which, you don't want to see anybody getting hurt, but these guys are taking advantage of the situation now, and they're cashing in.
Well, Peroni's a better hitter than what we've seen this year. Trace is a better hitter than what we've seen this year, and Devon Torrance is too. And Devon doesn't belong in the 160, so now he's playing every day and drawing a lot of walks. Sometimes that's how a hot streak will start.
Exactly right.
He's seeing the ball pretty well. Here is Lair to lead it off. Left on left matchup, which actually might favor Trace. Gunn to the plate. It's ball 1. What is that? 1-0. Trace is 3 out of 4 in the series with 9 walks. 1 ball and nothing.
Oh, that's just.
Gunn rears back, fires. Lair seeing a ball actually into the zone. His missile defense system may be breaking down. Said the other day the Pentagon called. They want to know how to put up a shield to deflect missiles. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Lair. Gunn to the plate, and Trace will swing and hit a ball on the ground. There is Rosario digging it out of the hole. He throws on to retire Trace, 1 out. Good pitching gets good defense, and we've seen it on both sides. We talked about Rosario's glove. He has been very impressive in this series. 1 out, and that brings on Devon. Torrance hitting just 167. He's not had a multiple hit game at all this season, which is really puzzling. Gunn is ready to go. Torrance takes a pitch down and away. It's ball 1, no strikes. Sean Dunston Jr. waits on deck. The only Barnstormers base hit, single off the glove of the pitcher Gunn by Cordero. The base hit for the Dirty Birds. I won't say a bloop double, a flared double certainly. Torrance driving a foul, scattering his own bullpen mates. And it's 1-1.
They really have not seen any balls that have been hard hit yet tonight.
Gunn without a strikeout. He's surviving on contact. He's done pretty well with it. A ball and a strike on Devon Torrance. The pitch taken below the knees. It is ball 2. 2-1 with Sean Dunston Jr. waiting on deck. We talk about the hitting streak for Mercedes at 15, but Dunston came into tonight at 9, and Cordero is milder. He's at 4. 2 balls, 1 strike to Torrance. Here's the motion, and ball 3 is inside and low. Devon with a chance to reach base and match Lair's walk count. I wonder if there's a contest between the two of them. 3-1, the count on Devon Torrance. Ball 4 is outside. So yes, he does. 9th walk to the number 9 hitter in this series. And if we peered into the Charleston dugout, we might see Billy Horn taking another swig of antacid.
I think Lair and Torrance need a new walk-up song, no pun intended. Something with walk in it.
We could have the Bengals rework Walk Like an Egyptian to Walk Like a Barnstormer. Torrance is on, and he can present issues. 8 for 12, stealing bases.
And
Gunn and Torrance in a staring match. Gunn now to the plate, and he's low to Dunston.
a decent lead off, a first for Torrance.
It looks like it may very well be a battle of manufactured runs tonight. Then again, in this facility, you never do quite know. The 1-0, Dunston looks to pitch across. Looked like Gunn dropped a little on the arm slot there. It may have been my imagination. Able to angle it over. Dunston bats at 1-1 with Mercedes on deck. Torrance trying to get a read on the left-hander's move. Next offering, and Dunston lines this to center. It's down for a base hit. So he's alive at 10. Barnstormers with runners at first and second, 1 out for Mercedes. He walked his first time up.
Real nice swing, good contact by Dunston, and you could tell just the crack of the bat that was solid.
He's been remarkable coming in here.
Yeah.
You're not talking a guy who played in the major leagues. He was in Single A, a couple different organizations, the Frontier League last year. He's been marvelous. So here is Mercedes with 2 on and 1 out. The left-hander to the plate. Gunn fires high to Mel. Ball 1-0. Cordero on deck. The Barnstormers certainly set up to produce a run or two this inning.
You know, and I look at a player like Dunston, and you got to figure, makes contact, good eye at the plate, good defensive player. How has he not made it higher than what he did?
To Mercedes, the 1-0, and he lifts the ball to shallow right field. Seymour has another one. 4th put out for the right fielder, and now Cordero will step in. Well, they found him quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, the thing is, Gunn's not overpowering with his pitches, but he and De La Cruz are using a nice mix, and they're using the entire strike zone. They're hitting all different spots. So at this point, it's just a tip of the cap to the pitchers. They are the ones in charge here tonight.
Gunn must have just a little bit of run. It may be a two-seamer, something that fades back away from the right-handed hitters, and they're getting underneath them and hitting those weak fly balls to the opposite field. It's 4 right-handed batters now that have done it here tonight. Cordero stands in. He had the infield base hit back in the first inning. So he and Dunston have extended their hitting streaks. Mercedes not yet. Torrance and Dunston are on. And they're staying put. Cordero with a line drive into right field for a base hit. They're going to challenge Seymour once again. This time the throw is offline. Now a throw back to second. Cordero's safe in there. Andretti Cordero with an RBI base hit into right field. He's driven in his 68th of the season. The Barnstormers take a 1-0 lead.
Steady Andretti comes through again, and Ross again, he's going to challenge Seymour. This time the throw's offline, and Torrance much easier time of getting across the plate than what Mercedes did in the first inning.
If that throw had been online, there was definitely a play.
Absolutely.
A very strong throw once more from Anthony Seymour, but this time it was up the first baseline. Now Trayvon Robinson bats with runners at second and third and 2 outs. A run on the board for the Barnstormers. Cordero delivering once again. And now Trayvon pulls a ball out to left field. Back this one goes. And that will not stay in here. It is a 3-run home run for Trayvon Robinson.
Oh, man.
And all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, it's 4-0. And this is what the Barnstormers have been doing. Robinson's 5th homer on the homestand, his 2nd to left field.
And you know, we're looking into the sun, but I looked at the left fielder Beltre. He took 2 steps and then stopped. He knew that thing was gone. I'm looking up. There was a fan that picked that up near the walkway. This ball was crushed.
Got all of it.
Look at that.
Yeah. That is a blast for Trayvon, his 5th of the year. And Anderson Felice will step in with the bases empty. He and Robinson have gone back-to-back before on this homestand. Gun to the plate, and it's fouled into the net. No balls and a strike. The Barnstormers are getting the clutch hits. They're getting the good pitching. They're getting guys on base, even if it's not with base hits, like Torrance started this rally with a walk. The offense is gelling. Here is the 0-1 now. Felice will, guess what, hit a pop fly on the right side. Seymour calls off Rosario and drops it. That should have been Rosario's play, I think. And there was a bit of miscommunication out there. And Felice, as a result of the accident, is on board. He called him off and then saw that Rosario was right there. It might have been, oops, my bad.
Yeah.
And Rosario at the same time might not have heard him call him off, or he might have thought he had the play. Miscommunication. The error leads to a Barnstormers base runner as the inning continues. And designated hitter Tyler Hill standing in. Hill grounded out his first time up. Gun to the set. And there's a bounder towards shortstop. That'll be handled easily by Goris. He underhands to Rosario, closing out the inning 6-4. But the Barnstormers produced 4 runs, all with 2 outs in the inning. They do it on 3 hits. The error ultimately inconsequential, and 1 runner left on base. At the end of 3, 4-0 Lancaster. The Barnstormers again have staked themselves to a pretty healthy lead in this series. But Charleston has been a feisty ball club, to say the least. And in the last 2, they have come back from a huge deficit to get to within a run. It didn't stay there Saturday, but it did on Sunday. That game with a pretty intense finish here on Sunday afternoon. The Barnstormers holding on to win by the score of 6-5. The Lancaster 10-2 at the outset of the second half, trying to win a half for the first time in 7 years. Wow. As I said earlier, the Barnstormers in a wild card race also, but nobody wants to talk about that right now. Staten Island is down tonight, trailing the Genomes 3-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Gastonia is up 3-2 in the top of the 3rd at York. Again, Gastonia 11-0 in the second half. High Point 1-0 over Lexington, and Long Island 1-0 over Southern Maryland. Those games still early.
I missed it. You said Staten Island. Was that the first game you mentioned?
Yeah, Wild Health leading 3-0.
Okay, that's good news.
I still have to think that either York or Long Island or both will try to make a run at it before it's over.
Well, that's like clockwork.
Based on history.
Yes.
They're both off to very unexpected bad starts here in the second half. Now here is Alfredo Gonzalez, and he will take ball 1 on a spinner from De La Cruz. It is 1 ball, no strikes. Starting off the top of the 4th inning, the Barnstormers have just put a 4 spot on the board. RBI single by Cordero and a 3-run homer for Robinson. Next hook is over. And to Gonzalez, it is 1-1. De La Cruz last time out, he went 5 innings, giving up 3 hits and a run in that game.
Yeah.
The one won by the Barnstormers in 10, 3-2, that which will live in infamy. Popped up, Peroni charging after it toward the screen, but that's about 3 or 4 rows in. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Alfredo Gonzalez.
That million view game,
somewhere around
or sequence, I should
a million of the clip at the very end of last Wednesday night. It is everywhere. People have seen it on national news in places, national sportscasts, certainly all over Twitter and Barstool Sports. De La Cruz into the wine, and the pitch fouled into the screen. Gonzalez not far off that one.
No.
And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. I think you might come back with another breaking ball here. Where, I'm not sure. There's part of me, you know, I've been friends with that umpiring crew over the years. There's a part of me that I kind of feel badly for them. I mean, they did create a good part of that, but I do feel badly.
Yeah, you never want to be involved in something like that, you know. It's best when the game is played and it's like you don't even know the umpires are there.
That's to be the point. 1 and 2. Oh, it was a breaking ball, but it wasn't close enough. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Got to be delicate with Mr. Gonzalez. What a series he's had. 4 homers. He's driven in 10. He's been a tough out. 2-2 pitch. Fastball.
Whoa. Up
the middle. Diving try by Mercedes. The ball ticking away. And Gonzalez slips and falls around first base. There might be a play here. The throw. And he is out at first base. He rounded, thought about going to second, slipped and went down trying to get back. And the leadoff base hit for Alfredo Gonzalez ends up going to waste.
And I think what happened, I think he was in safely, but then overslid the bag and his hand went off the bag. And that's when Cordero was able to apply the tag. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he don't pass the bag. And that will be questioned. You say, well, did Cordero shove him off the bag? I don't think so. He is out. So it is a single for Alfredo Gonzalez. And then he's tagged out, trying to get back into first base. 1 out, nobody on, and Longy will step in. One of the issues that Charleston has been base running. And we've seen them hand the Barnstormers some outs over the course of this extended series. To Longy, breaking ball, fouled at the plate. It is 0-1, and certainly De La Cruz very thankful not to have to deal with Gonzalez on the bases, because get this, he has 10 steals on top of everything else.
You don't normally see that out of a catcher.
And you know, if you weren't a fast guy for a catcher, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But he legitimately had the thought in mind of going to second base as that ball had kind of slowed down up the middle. 1-1, and that slips out of the hand and hits Longy from behind.
Right off the back of the helmet.
De La Cruz has done that before. He did it at Staten Island in a start where he was pitching really well, and all of a sudden he hit their catcher, Brian Gonzalez, like that. Clearly the ball slipped out of his hand.
Yeah.
It was a breaking ball. Longy says he's all right.
Thankfully, it was just a breaking ball.
It's 1 out, 1 on. Here is Angel Beltre. He grounded to second back in inning 2. And I'll tell you, De La Cruz a little bit shakier here in the 4th than he had been in the first 3. And it can happen. The 4th inning very often is that inning where a starter is sailing along and then hits a speed bump inside and low on Beltre for a ball, 1-0. So the out at first base certainly could help the cause here. Lancaster with 4 on the board.
And going back to that play, Gonzalez, when he saw it deflect off of Mercedes' glove, he thought he had a chance because that ball died out in shallow center field. But give Dunston a lot of credit. He was hustling on the play, got it in quickly, and Lancaster was able to get Gonzalez before he got back to first base.
2 balls, no strikes on Beltre. and it may not be long before Mark Johnson heads out for a visit.
I was thinking the same thing because he's always pushed the button at the right time.
2 balls and nothing. De La Cruz to the plate. That's beaten foul. So Mark can at least contemplate sitting back down. Well, they never do. The coaches are always at the railing watching everything going on. They keep a close eye on it all.
I'd love to have them mic'd up sometime just to hear what they're saying. Maybe.
Outside and ball 3. Goris, the shortstop, waiting on deck. But De La Cruz, who was fabulous for 3 innings, is all of a sudden a little bit erratic here in the 4th. Gives up the base hit to Gonzalez, who then slips and falls, runs into the out. But he's hit Longy with a pitch. Beltre now at 3 balls and a strike, and a left-handed hitter with decent power. So the game could get a lot more interesting very quickly here. 3-1, popped up foul out of play. The count fills with 1 out and 1 on in the 4th inning.
Well, and when a guy gets hit, everybody thinks about the guy that got hit by the pitch. You don't sometimes think about the pitcher because that's not the intent. And all of a sudden he's thinking, okay, what did I do wrong? Am I losing my grip on X pitch? I mean, it can get into the head of a pitcher at the same time.
8th batter hit by Oscar De La Cruz. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The count to Beltre. The runner will hold, and the pitch is ball 4 off the outside corner. And now you've got some real issues here. First and second with 1 out. Goris will step in. He struck out looking back in the 2nd inning. And here comes Mark Johnson. The pitching coach will pay a visit. His job right now is to keep De La Cruz away from those big innings that have hurt the Barnstormers so much for 2.5 years. And we hadn't seen them for a couple of weeks, and then they started rearing their ugly heads again over the weekend with the 6-run 6th inning on Saturday and the 4-run 7th inning on Sunday. Neither one overturning a Barnstormer lead, but definitely making the shirt collar get a little bit itchy. And now the Barnstormers are up by 4. When you really want your pitcher to come out and throw that shutdown inning, you've got some problems. First and second, 1 out. Goris will step in as MJ heads back to the dugout.
All it takes is 1 pitch to induce that ground ball and get a double play. And De La Cruz is out of the inning. And Mark Johnson has always seemed to have timed it right.
De La Cruz to the set, breaking ball. There's the grounder. Felice will charge and throw the ball into right field. It's backed up out there by Robinson, but it's bases loaded on the error. So he got the pitch that you wanted to make. He got the ground ball, and the Barnstormers make a very bad fielding error, very untimely fielding error. Felice charged, tried to start the double play, but didn't make sure of the throw to second.
On a ball that wasn't hit that hard, so if anything, you settle, you just get at least one.
Get 1 out. You're leading by 4. Now Jovan Gonzalez stands in, and suddenly he's the tying run at the plate. You hope that error is not terribly costly. Gonzalez struck out looking back in the 2nd inning. Fastball runs up high, a check swing, but he did not go. And it is ball 1. Scott Burcham, the 3rd baseman, waits on deck. And now a breaking ball in the dirt. There are some serious problems. 2 balls and no strikes. De La Cruz's control suddenly erratic. The Barnstormers have a chance to make a play in the field, and they don't turn 1 out, let alone 2. I don't think there was a chance for 2.
No, I don't think so either.
And they tried to rush the play. Jovan Gonzalez bats 2 balls and nothing. Watch out for right field here. Oscar De La Cruz to the plate. The 2-0 popped up on the right side and out of play.
Well, he tried to go that way.
It is 2-1. He's beaten the Barnstormers to right field more than once over the years.
Yeah, De La Cruz looked really sharp in that second and third innings. And then all of a sudden a hiccup here in the fourth.
Still a chance to get out of it. Needs another ground ball. Gonzalez batting 2-1. Burcham, the third baseman, on deck. De La Cruz ready to go. 2-1. Fastball swung on and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good heat on that pitch.
The swing and the miss, much to the delight of the partisans here in Lancaster. But it's still just the second strike. 2-2 to Gonzalez, and the pitch driven out to center field. Here comes Dunston. He'll make the catch. The runner will tag off third. Throw goes into second. That's a double play, and the run does not count. Oh my, Beltre gets doubled off second base. And a slick play by Dunston. He saw it developing. He knew he had no shot on Longy at home, and Longy didn't get across the plate before the double play was turned.
No, he kind of held up, kind of coasted into third, thinking there was going to be no play at the plate.
Dunston coming in. He saw this developing. Quick strike to second. They had him. And Longy did not have time to come home. Beltre is doubled off. The shutout continues. The Barnstormers leading 4-0. We'll take yet another look. Dunston in position to handle the line drive off the bat of Jovan Gonzalez. The throw had Beltre beaten back to second base. And Longy was not anywhere near home when that out was recorded.
Well, Beltre can contest it all he wants. We have it on the tape. He was out at second. And we want to be impartial.
And we were. We saw that Devon Torrance was out in the game last Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He definitely was. That was not the correct call. It went. The call went to the benefit of the Barnstormers, but it certainly did not appear to us on the slow-mo replay to be the right one. This one was.
Now, here's the other thing, though, is I'm not going to let Nick Longy off the hook either. He kind of jogged his way down the third baseline. You can't take anything for granted. You got to run.
Well, the fact that the play was a line drive, Beltre really didn't have time to get back, even from his lead off as second. He may have taken one false step in the wrong direction. He didn't get back. Longy was jogging home thinking that there's no way that he was going to be thrown out by Dunston. And as a result, the Barnstormers still lead by 4. Ball 1 to Anthony Peroni.
And again, this is something we've seen out of De La Cruz. He gets in a bind. Somehow he works his way out of it.
It's amazing the Barnstormers did not give up a run in that half inning. For a strike to Peroni, and it's 1-1. A single, a hit batter, a walk, and a throwing error.
Yeah.
And they did not score. 2 outs on the bases. That's remarkable. 1-1 on Peroni. Check swing. Did he go? He did not, says Steve Zawiski. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Laren Torrance following in this bottom of the 4th with the Barnstormers up by 4. Trying to win for the 11th time in the last 12 ball games. and 15 out of 18. Peroni with a smash to short. One hop handled by Goris, and that should be an easy throw. It wasn't, but Longy had time to get back. One out, and that will bring on Lair.
That's the second time tonight that Nick Longy's had to elongate himself and come off the bag to pull in a throw from the opposite side of the infield. And that's dangerous too, because that just sets yourself up for a potential collision.
Lair grounded out his first time up. Gunn has allowed 4 hits and 4 runs to this point. The Barnstormers were able to string together hits, capped off by the Robinson home run. Big swing and a miss for Trace. It is 0-1. Wondering what this concept of actually having to lift the bat off his shoulders is. A streak of 10 consecutive plate appearances reaching is over. With that ground out his first time up. 0-1. Gunn balloons a breaking ball up there. It is 1 ball and 1 strike.
Boy, and Charleston really could have used some runs in that inning just to help out Gunn as well. Cut into this Lancaster lead.
Lair bats 1-1. The kick, the pitch, breaking ball slips low, and the count is in Trace's favor. 2 balls and 1 strike on the Lancaster third baseman. And lined into center field, a base hit. As I said, Lair actually has been a better hitter against lefties. He rings a single into center, and 1 out base runner for the Barnstormers in the 4th. That's just a good, solid base hit.
Yeah, that is so encouraging to see him in a groove. Because again, he helps out that lower part of the order. We've seen what the top 4 guys can do. The middle guys have produced. Now the lower third has really stepped up their game.
Torrance, the batter. They'll focus on Lair. He starts, doesn't go. Either he was bluffing all along or he did not like the situation as it developed. Lair, we've seen, is a very efficient base stealer. He is 9 for 9. But those numbers are accumulating pretty rapidly now, as the Barnstormers, generally speaking, have to rely on small ball. Gunn must hold runners really well. The Barnstormers ultimately haven't tried to go all night. 1-0 to Torrance. Ball 2. 2-0. Torrance starting to take over from Lair as being the walkmeister.
Yeah, very much a single doubles type of lineup right now, but boy, is it nice to see a bomb every now and then like what Robinson's been doing.
And that wasn't any cheap Clipper Magazine Stadium on the porch home run. That was
not.
A blast well up onto the left field hillside. 3-0. I said earlier on this homestand, Robinson taking his team on his shoulders in a lot of ways with all those injuries. I did see Ladarius Clark earlier today. A lot of swelling has gone down and nowhere near ready to play. That's going to be quite a while yet, but he told me he would be back. Whether that meant this year or 2023, I'm not sure. But he promised to be back. He's on one of those scooters that you roll around with the injured ankle up, up off the ground. 3-1, but in very good spirits.
And again, I'm no doctor, but first of all, like you said, the swelling's got to go down. And then at some point, he's got to start working on that flexibility and movement. That's going to take time. So, yeah, this could be a long haul for Ladarius Clark.
3-2, Lair takes off. Torrance fouls it to the top of the screen.
Boy, and a good jump, too.
Will continue at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, the only way you're getting a stolen base there is on a strikeout. So you don't necessarily want the steal. You want, in that situation, a ground ball. You've already managed to stay out of the double play. You're hoping for one to get on through. 3-2, Lair stays put this time, and that ball is blistered past the shortstop, Gareese, and out into left field. Torrance now with a base hit. And runners are at first and second with one out. Dunston will step in. A lot of these guys you see spending extra time in the cage, hitting either with somebody throwing flips or hitting off the tee. Torrance is one of those guys.
No, it paid off, and I think that was a great way to describe it. That ball was blistered, and it helped the fact that Gorse was shaded a little bit towards second base. They were pinching, hoping to get that ground ball double play, and it was just to his right and eluded him for a single.
Here is Dunston. Sean is 1 for 2. Lair at second. Torrance the runner at first base. Dunston exclusively a left-handed batter. Strike on the outside corner of the knees. Gunn starts him off at 0-1. The Barnstormers have Lair and Dunston exclusively as left-handed batters. They've got Mercedes, Robinson, Felice, and Torrance, all 4 switch hit. 0-1. Bouncing ball back toward the mound. Gunn gets the out at second. The throw back to first in time for the double play. That's not easy to do with Dunston running. Nicely started by Gunn, and his throw was absolutely where it needed to be. 2 hits for the Barnstormers and 1 man left on base. Well defended by the Charleston Dirty Birds. Boy, he led Gories perfectly there. A 1-6-3 double play, and we get to the 5th with the Barnstormers continuing to lead 4-0. It is a good night for cold drinks. That is to be certain. Temperatures in the 90s. This is, on average, the hottest week of the year in the eastern United States. So we're there. We're into summer, definitely. Don't quite have the August humidity yet. It does show up from time to time. There have been 2 or 3 times I've left the stadium at those crazy hours where I leave, and my car has been absolutely covered in condensation. And I have to run the wipers and the defogger, the rear window defogger, in the middle of the night. So you know the humidity is here, but it's not, as you said, it's not oppressive. Here's Scott Burcham, the third baseman. He grounded out to his counterpart, Mr. Lair, back in the third. 4-0 Lancaster. And Dela Cruz finds the range, strike 1 call. Oscar certainly got some breaks to get through the 4th inning without a run or 2 scoring. 0-1 breaking ball, doesn't get all the way back, and Burcham stands in at a ball and a strike.
Well, he didn't get the shut-down inning last inning. Maybe he can do it this inning. Keep that momentum going.
Swing and a miss, make it 1-2. 2 pretty crisp fastballs from Oscar Dela Cruz. Right-hander into the line, the pitch, and that is sent deep to right, but foul up toward the broken bat deck. Subaru outdoor experience. 1-2. We have so many specialty areas in this facility. Something for everyone. Games, fun, craft beers. 1-2, that's strike 3. That is the 4th called third strike for Oscar Dela Cruz tonight. He does not have a swinging one. One man gone, and here is Anthony Seymour, the right fielder. A double back in the third inning for him.
Well, that just tells you he's got good movement and good location on those pitches.
Hey, and starting pitchers they'll have that one inning where their stuff is just wonky. You could still go on and throw a perfect game, but that's the inning where that perfect game consists of a couple of line drives or something, and you get through it, and then you come out and dominate again. De La Cruz to Seymour, runs him off the plate. Ball one inside, 1-0. Ball two is now inside and low. A couple breaking balls that have not been where they needed to be. 2-0. De La Cruz's fastball legitimately around 95, lined into right field and a base hit. Robinson will come up with it. Seymour plays right field, so he knows enough to bolt down to first base, although I'm not sure Seymour has another gear anyway. I don't know how many times Caleb Gindel came up firing to first base on a ball hit just like that, and every once in a while he would get somebody who didn't hustle down the line.
You don't want to be that player either. Just when you think you get a base hit, only to get nabbed by the right fielder.
The 9-3 ground out never looks good on the scorecard. One out, here is Heath. Seymour hits the deck in front of a lob throw over to first base. Cordero touches him with the baseball and tries to sell something to Steve Zawiski. It wasn't a very good sales job. There's a better throw, and again, the runner is back. Seymour already with a stolen base tonight, his 13th of the year. In fact, the Dirty Birds are 2 for 2 in the stolen base category. One out, runner at first. Seymour gets another throw, and this time Seymour is caught. He is picked off. 1-3. That was like red light, yellow light, green light. 3 different speeds, and Oscar De La Cruz is grinning from ear to ear.
I don't know who had the bigger smile, De La Cruz
or Cordero.
Cordero.
2 outs and another out on the bases created by Charleston.
Wow.
Off speed, missing outside to Heath. That is ball 1 and no strikes.
So the base running blunders have cost them.
Yeah, they've multiplied too. Ball 2, missing low to Heath. Well, you don't want to put him on, or you have to go at it all over again. 3 different moves to first base. Seymour saw all of them, and he got nabbed on the third one. 2-0. And a Heath to the inside corner for a called strike. Now 2-1. Oscar's given up 3 hits. He has walked 2, hit a batter. It hasn't really been easy for him. Check swing, he did not go, and it's ball 3. Rosario on deck, and then Gonzalez. So you want to get Heath and force him to start all over again in the 6th inning. 2 outs, base is empty. Here is the 3-1. That is lined at Melvin. It will end the inning. L4 on the double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. Nobody left. Middle of the 5th, halfway through regulation. And the Barnstormers are up 4-0. more cold drinks. It is, to say the least, a chilly or night for the chili drinks. It's quite warm here. As Eric somehow is trying to disassemble the radio or the TV booth.
But we haven't seen the.
There hasn't been an ice cream shot yet. That might be too early.
It is only the 5th.
Everybody's waiting for the walking taco to settle in.
Yeah,
That's
it was good.
Eric and I have that. That's our personal favorites now.
Yes.
We both love the walking taco from the cantina down the first baseline. Before the Turkey Hill ice cream. Mercedes Cordero Robinson scheduled in the bottom of the 5th. Mercedes has walked and flied out, but has yet to extend his hitting streak.
And you know, your subliminal messages about ice cream settled in to me on Sunday. Had to stop and get some on the way home. He was calling me.
I do every once in a while. Another thing I like to do is I'm a big yogurt guy too. So maybe I'll get a yogurt parfait as opposed to the ice cream and trick myself into thinking it's healthier. To Mercedes, up the middle, 16 in a row. A line single for Melvin to open up the 5th inning. So now he's within 4 of the club record. Leadoff man aboard here in the 5th inning.
Boy, that whistled by Michael Gunn on the mound.
That brings on Cordero Andretti 2 for 2 with a very instrumental base hit in the 4-run 3rd inning. Mercedes held by Longy over at first base. The lefty to Cordero, and that is a called strike despite Cordero feeling he had to run out of the box. A lot of break on that one, and it caught the front of the inside corner. Cordero bats 0-1, Mercedes the runner. Gunn working from what looks like a slide step quickly to the plate, ground ball near second base. This could be 2. The flip to short, Goris to first, and a double play. 2nd inning in a row that the Barnstormers have grounded into one. And the Charleston defense has made the most of both of them. Mercedes could do nothing but run out of the way. He was nowhere near second base to where he could take out, even think about a takeout slide, which you're not really allowed to do anymore anyway.
Well, that's huge, though. That's double plays in back-to-back innings that have helped Gunn. And, you know, the way he has been pitching, the longer he can stay in, the more it's going to help Charleston.
Ball is outside to Robinson, who almost had to take there.
Where is his pitch count right now?
Not terribly high at all. He's in the, I have him, it's 64. I'm a little bit low. I think it's about 67.
Okay, still, that's...
Ball 2 to Robinson, who just thundered one out of here back in the 3rd inning. That's the bulk of the Lancaster offense tonight. That 3-run homer for Trayvon.
And again, when you get a guy that doesn't ring up a lot of strikeouts, sometimes this is the guy that can go deeper because you're not throwing those additional pitches. Strikeouts are sexy. I know people love to see a pitcher throw double-digit strikeouts, but man, to have a pitcher that can pitch to contact and can get out on as few pitches as possible, I'll take that any day of the week.
Robinson will see a strike. It is 2-1. They've gone at 68. That may or may now 69.
Okay.
The last one now registered. 2-1. Robinson skies this to center. Nick Heath back a step or two, in a step or two. It was routine. Promising start to the inning with the leadoff single up the middle for Mercedes, but nothing develops. 1 hit, nobody left. At the end of 5, the Barnstormers continue to lead 4-0. De La Cruz has pitched well here tonight. At the same time, he has benefited from some generous base running mistakes on the part of the Charleston Dirty Birds. And the Barnstormers continue to lead by the score of 4-0. It's been one bad inning for Michael Gunn so far tonight. Barnstormers got to him with 2 outs in the third for the RBI single by Cordero and the 3-run homer by Robinson. Outside of that, Gunn and De La Cruz have been in about an equal amount of trouble, and both have been able to pitch their way through it. We hit the 6th inning. And this is the time of game where you have to watch the Barnstormers. And I'm not blaming Ross Peoples at all, because you never know if you're making the right decision about when to lift the starting pitcher and go to the bullpen. But there have been many nights where that decision has backfired. Either the starting pitcher stays in and gives up or gets off to a bad start in a 6th or 7th inning, or the reliever comes in and has a bad stretch, or you make the transition and the starter leaves a couple guys out there and the reliever gives them up. It's happened a lot, especially these last 2 games, neither one costing the Barnstormers a win. Well, here is Rosario. He's 0 for 1 with a walk, and Oscar lights up the inside corner for a called strike. It's 0-1. So you watch the 6th and 7th innings, because those are, if the Barnstormers have given up rallies, it's tended to be in one or the other. Fouled back to the net. Eric was ready to make the play.
Indeed. So some stirring down in the Lancaster pen, but nobody really getting up and throwing, just kind of moving around, getting loose, stretching.
Here's the 0-2, breaking ball low and outside. De La Cruz has not gone beyond 6 innings. He's gotten to 6 a fairly good number of times. 1-2, the count on Rosario. Oscar into the motion, the pitch, fastball, punched out to shallow center field, and that's going to drop in for a leadoff base hit. Not hit all that well by Rosario, but effectively down, leadoff single. And here is Alfredo Gonzalez, and now De La Cruz will try to find the double play ground ball.
Well, Dunston on that play, he was really shaded more towards right center.
And that is where Rosario largely has been hitting the ball. That's a natural place to play him. But he pulled that one around a bit, and it was dying in a hurry. Nothing Sean could do.
And Dunston knows that if he's in his normal position, he probably makes that play. But you got to go with, the history of the player and what he typically does. So you can't blame Dunston for being where he was.
Alfredo Gonzalez is 1 for 2 here this evening. The Barnstormers set at double play depth. Jose Rosario, the runner at first base, he's already stolen a bag tonight. He's going to stay put for now, and the first pitch fastball is across for strike 1. De La Cruz has walked 2. He has struck out 4. He's given up a base hit for the 4th consecutive inning.
And based on the series that this guy has had at the plate, you have to hold your breath every time he comes up.
0-1 pitch, and again, it slips out of Oscar's hand, and the wild pitch gives Rosario second and takes away the double play possibility. It's the 2nd time it's happened tonight. Last time he hit Longy in the back of the helmet.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the breaking ball that hit Longy, and that looked like a breaking ball as well.
It was. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Alfredo Gonzalez, Nick Longy waits on deck. And again, if you're the Barnstormers, you've got to try not to allow this to turn into a big inning, because they have been known to happen about this time of game. And now Gonzalez gets a hold of another one, but I don't think he got all of this. Torrance back before the track to make the catch. Tagging and making the way to third is Rosario, and he will be in. Deep fly out to left for Alfredo Gonzalez. He had a little too much air under that one, but it was scary off the bat.
And Gonzalez knew it too. Just a fraction off made that difference between being a fly ball and a 2-run home run.
1 out, runner at third, and here is Longy, who has struck out and been hit by a pitch. Oscar De La Cruz facing the Dirty Birds for the first time. Niall Ball will go tomorrow night against a right-hander out of the bullpen named Stephen Chambly. Swing and a miss. Longy fell for the first pitch, breaking ball, and De La Cruz is ahead at 0-1.
Well, we've seen when De La Cruz, when his breaking ball is on, it can be devastating.
The infield back with the 4-run lead. Next offering is popped up foul and out of play down the right field line. De La Cruz is ahead at no balls and 2 strikes. Barnstormers up by 4, all the runs in the 1 inning. The bottom half of the 3rd, an RBI single for Cordero, followed by a Trayvon Robinson 3-run homer. 0-2 on Nick Longy. De La Cruz out of the full windup. That is a fastball for strike 3. 5 called third strikes now for Oscar De La Cruz here tonight. That one important because it's an out without the runner coming across from third.
Boy, and a delay call from Bill Reuter. I thought, oh, you got to be kidding, and then rings him up. And you know, you look at De La Cruz, great stuff. In 1, 2, 3, 5, and so far here in the 6th, a bump in the 4th where he couldn't find the strike zone. Man, this guy is sharp.
2 outs with Rosario at third. Here is Beltre. He's grounded out and walked. Rosario comes up the line from third. And the pitch to the inside corner, a called strike, and Beltre bats at 0-1. And the Barnstormers look like they're getting some loose action down in the bullpen. Nothing in 1 to Beltre. The pitch, busted bat, little weak pop up in the infield. Let that go foul. It does. It cooperates.
Good call, Coach.
0-2. If Lair couldn't get there on the fly, which he obviously couldn't, don't touch that thing.
Yeah.
And Trace knew it. Good play. No balls and 2 strikes now on Beltre. And a new bat coming into play.
Yep. That made a hard left turn once it hit the grass.
And you knew it would.
Yep. So again, here's De La Cruz in a great position. Ahead in the count, 2 outs, and a chance to get out of an inning. And the second time tonight, it would be where a runner is left stranded at third base. So he's flirted with danger, but has been able to get out of it every time.
Two outs. Rosario up the line from third. De La Cruz may toy with Beltre here. We'll see. He's going to step off and look at Rosario. And again, a long lead off third. The pitch, swing and a foul. Beltre stays in. And you see some of the byplays, especially from the players from the Dominican Republic. And I've got to admit, I'm not familiar with the geography from down there, and I don't keep track of who's played with whom in winter ball. But they come across each other a lot. 0-2, breaking ball, and Beltre keeps his turn at the plate going. And we will stay at no balls and 2 strikes. And, of course, when you hear the Dominican Republic, if you follow baseball at all, you make the connection because so many great players have come from that half of Hispaniola, the eastern half. 0-2. Fastball off the inside corner. Peroni pumps toward third base. Rosario knew.
He's like, come on, go ahead, throw it down.
One and 2. Again, Rosario off the bag. De La Cruz is ready. Here's the 1-2. And this is popped up. Shallow right field. Mercedes back pedals. Mercedes there for the catch. And De La Cruz has pitched himself out of trouble once more. No runs, 1 hit, and the runner left at third. We're through 5.5, and Lancaster still leads 4-0. You get a look in the Charleston dugout. They won on Friday. They stayed in the blue jerseys, but they lost Saturday, Sunday. So time to change to the yellow here tonight. And if those are the mountains around Charleston, it's part of the art on the jersey. And it is an absolutely beautiful area. Scary airport, though. I mentioned my first official broadcast of a game working for the Rochester Red Wings back in 1980 was in Charleston, West Virginia. We flew there on old Piedmont Airlines out of National Airport. From Rochester to National, that was fine. Then National to Charleston. I was glad I was forewarned about landing in Charleston because the airport, as I understand it, is carved into the side of a mountain, and when you're landing, the trees on one side of the plane are actually above you. And it's a little intimidating.
Oh, jeez.
But I was warned. It's when you land at Washington National, it looks like you're landing in the water.
True.
And all of a sudden, the runway shows up.
Yeah, Harrisburg's the same way. It's right along the river. Yeah, but you would think, why would you not take down some of those trees? Because I would imagine if wind currents through there.
They're probably a lot more distant than you think. But
yeah.
And the planes actually take off over the stadium where it is right now. Grounded foul by Anderson Felice starting off the 6th inning.
So a white knuckle moment for you?
It was. It would have been worse had I not been forewarned. I was forewarned about landing in National the first time I went in there. I was not warned about Phoenix, and that was my white knuckle moment. Felice bats 0-1 against Gunn, who actually has pitched a pretty solid game.
Okay.
Despite being down.
So
specifically flying into Phoenix in March, which is when I went there for spring training. You come out from over the mountains and the thermals hit, and it just lifts the plane hundreds of feet all of a sudden. Strike 2 on the outside corner to Felice. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pink bat is back. That's a heart in your throat moment. Now I know. Same thing apparently happens at McCarran International in Las Vegas. 1-2 pitch, driven out to left field. Beltre has it in his sights. That is out number 1. Or Harry Reid, I believe it is now. They have renamed it. I know it is McCarran, but it is Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas now. Tyler Hill will step in. He's 0 for 2 on ground balls to the left side. I think Michael Gunn, outside of that 3rd inning, has really pitched a solid game.
Yes, he has.
His hiccup inning got him. He's had the benefit of 3 double plays, 1 on a fly ball, 2 on grounders. The pitch to Hill, across for a strike. It's 0-1. The 1-out walk back in the 3rd inning hurt him, but he's walked just 2. He hasn't struck out anybody. Very nice game pitching to contact. He was probably under orders to do so. I'm sure that the coaching staff for the Dirty Birds did not want to see another 11 walk performance out of the staff, as was the case both Saturday and Sunday. I'm sure the order, make the Barnstormers beat you. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count on Hill, and Tyler will loop a foul off to the right and out of play.
Yeah, and 2 of the 3 double plays that they have turned took Lancaster out of potential big innings. In the first and then again in the fourth. Or I should say scoring opportunities maybe. So yeah, you take away that 3rd inning and we could be a scoreless ball game.
Hill bats 1-2. Peroni waiting on deck. And to Tyler, that's the first strikeout of the night. Hill goes down swinging at a pitch in the dirt. 1 away here in the 6th inning. 2 away, pardon me. 1 strikeout. And Anthony Peroni will step in. He is fly to right and he is grounded to short. Like Tyler Hill certainly has gotten into the mustache brigade here. But I believe he came with one.
Well, I guess that's a prerequisite then.
Mine's working, but seeing my mustache is like picking up the flour on the bed sheet. White on white. Good luck. To Peroni high and outside, 1-0. But I thought I would join in. Look at Anthony. Yeah, he can grow one in about 48 minutes.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, that's a doppelganger of maybe Baker Mayfield.
You know, under the helmet, I think you're right. 1-0. Ball 2 into the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes. I talked about how he has, over the last few weeks, taken a very, very active role in the marketing of Barnstormers baseball. He's really helped out quite a bit in the PR efforts, the marketing efforts here, really taking a lot of ownership in this club. And you talk to the folks in the front office, they're extremely fond of him. 2 balls, no strikes to Peroni. Here is the motion. And the offering, soft liner, gloved by the second baseman Rosario, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Gunn. The second one he has put together over the course of the ball game. We're done with 6. Lancaster continuing to lead by a score of 4-0. Fifth time in 10 starts that Oscar De La Cruz has gone through 6 innings. He looked. He looked a little too long, and he looked. Oscar De La Cruz, 6 shutout innings here tonight on 86 pitches. 4 hits, shutout baseball, and now Chase Johnson takes over for the top half of the 7th inning.
Yeah, I give a lot of credit to De La Cruz because sometimes he found himself in trouble numerous points in this ball game. Every time he was able to work out of it, got some help defensively, got some help for some base running blunders on the part of Charleston, but all in all, a solid outing yet again.
And the Dirty Birds tonight 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position off of Oscar. Chase Johnson, the 6'3" right-hander from Fallbrook, California, taking over. that one-loss record, I can't explain it. He has lost in some very peculiar ways over the course of this season, but one of the many strong arms that the Barnstormers have out in their pen. As for Chase, his 33rd appearance of the season. This will make him tops on the ball club. Veteran right-hander, background in the Giants organization for a long time, and then last year he was in the San Diego system.
Well, and you know what? I think part of those 7 losses, you just got to look. He's given up 29 runs, 19 earned. I mean, there's 10 unearned runs in that span.
As I said, he is lost in some very peculiar ways. Here is Diego Gores leading off the 7th inning. Gores is 0 for 2. He struck out and reached on a fielder's choice when his potential double play grounder was thrown away. Johnson catches the inside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. Chase came into the game on Saturday and walked the only batter he faced on 4 pitches, and that's when they decided, the umpiring crew did, to finally pull the ripcord as the field was getting treacherous. He just had no landing spot. Those 4 pitches were all over the place, and that's just not Chase Johnson. The 0-1, well, okay. Make a liar out of me. Go ahead.
Wow.
1-1. It's amazing how well I timed that.
Well, it just makes me feel good because I find myself doing that as well. Oh, geez.
1-1 on Gores. Johnson peers in, has the sign from Peroni. Breaking ball fouled right at the dish. It's 1-2.
I thought that got Peroni in the bare hand. That's the last thing Lancaster needs. A lot of times you'll see the catcher put that bare hand behind. Peroni had it in front of himself.
1-2 on Gores. And Dunston moves a little more toward right center field. Johnson, one of the hard throwing relievers, missing for ball 2. It is 2-2. We have talked about the one problem this bullpen has had, and that has been getting going in a given game. The on-base percentage for the first batter faced by the bullpen is way too close to 400 for comfort. Here's a 2-2. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Gores goes down looking. All 6 strikeouts for Lancaster's staff tonight have been called. Gores barking about that. Not going away very quietly from Bill Reuter, but Bill is really good. He was a judge, so he has to be very good at diffusing tense situations, and he is.
So let me ask you, that stat that you were just talking about, first batters faced, is it more so when a relief pitcher is starting an inning, or are you seeing it even during an inning?
I think it's worse during an inning. I don't have that broken down. Here is Yovan Gonzalez, who is 0 for 2. Smashed up the middle on a base hit into center field, so 1 for 3. Runner on with 1 out in the 7th. Scott Burcham, the third baseman, will step in. The last time that Yovan Gonzalez stepped in, he had the bases loaded, 1 out, and hit a similar line drive, except that one he got up, and it resulted in a double play without a run scoring. 1 out, a man on here. Yovan Gonzalez hasn't tried to steal a base all year. Cordero holding him at first. Burcham the batter, 0 for 2 tonight. And Johnson low and outside, ball 1. Anthony Seymour, who's 2 for 2, waits on deck. 1 out, runner on. Johnson working out of the stretch, and he's down and in, ball 2. It's 2-0. The 7th inning has been a problem spot, and we talked about the 6th and 7th innings. Those are the innings in which the opposing teams have scored the most runs this year. Here's a 2-0, ball 3 missing, and he's overthrowing his fastball, it looks like. I don't know that he's thrown a fastball for a strike. Maybe one. 3 balls, no strikes on Burcham. And then you get Seymour, and then you get back around to the top of the order in Heath. .30 pitch. That'll be ball 4. Now, once again, Charleston has a threat. Mark Johnson is going to come out and talk to Chase Johnson, a man to whom he is not related. First and second with 1 out. It is, and I've said this for a while now, and for about the first 8 to 10 games of the second half, it panned out to be true that the bullpen should be the strength of this club. It really should. And they went through a span 18 straight scoreless innings for, you know, a combination of everybody out there. And then 2 runs in 24 innings, and those 2 runs turned out not to be terribly consequential. But now, the last couple of ball games, really this entire series against Charleston, the bullpen has been somewhat shaky. On Friday night, they gave up 4 runs, 3 earned in 4 innings. 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning on Saturday, and then 4 runs on Sunday. And you've got first and second, 1 out here. Seymour is already 2 for 2. He is a speedster, so the bunt is a possibility. This is a fastball fouled away. It's 0-1.
Well, I think a lot of this can be attributed to what you have mentioned about this Charleston team, is that they will waste pitch after pitch after pitch and eventually get the pitch they want, either draw a walk or get a base hit to keep an inning alive.
No balls and 1 strike on Anthony Seymour. He has blooped a double to left and singled into right. He'll be tough to double up. Breaking ball inside and low. Johnson almost hit him. 1-1. Heath, who has power, waits on deck. You need an out here. Otherwise, you put the lead in jeopardy. Seymour batting at 1 ball and 1 strike. Lair plays up at third. Cordero likewise at first. The pitch is stung to deep right field. Back it goes, and the walls will not contain it. Now we have a 1-run game, and this is what Charleston has been doing against the Barnstormers bullpen this entire series. The bullpen comes in, and a big lead becomes a 1-run game. Now the Barnstormers have shut it down the last 2 after it has gotten to within a run. Can they do it again here tonight? Anthony Seymour with his 3rd home run of the year. He's a triple away from the cycle tonight now.
Well, that pitch down in the strike zone, and Seymour just stayed right on it and golfs it out there into right field.
Nick Heath will step in. It's been the first man in. Aker on Saturday was greeted by a grand slam from Gonzalez, and then Sullentrop came in on Sunday, got 1 out, gave up 4 runs, and now Johnson strikes out Goris, but the next 3 reach with a 3-run homer capping it. Now to Heath, a strike on the inside corner.
Now Josh Graham is throwing now in Lancaster's bullpen.
4-3 our score. To Heath, 0-1. Same spot. It's 0-2. Lancaster still needs 8 outs, and the lead is just at 1. It just never seems to be easy for whatever reason. The 0-2 pitch, he tried it again, this time too far inside, and Heath bats at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you can see on that pitch, I think Peroni wanted him to go outside.
The offering popped up foul. Heath stays around. Rosario's on deck. Victory.
Stay with it.
I knew there was a reason I came to the ballpark tonight. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nick Heath, the center fielder. Line to Mercedes his last time up. Breaking ball, he did not go.
No.
That bat did not come far enough around. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Seymour. Dave Shirk on the call over at third.
No.
He held in time.
Hey, if you're Peroni, sure. Why not? You never know.
2-2. Fastball high, and you don't get charged. You're not limited in the number of appeals you get a game. That would certainly change baseball.
Yeah. Don't give him any ideas.
3 balls, 2 strikes now to Heath.
I saw the headline that they're doing something different in the All-Star game this year, but I didn't get a chance to read the article.
But this is a big pitch right now. 3-2, and it's ball 4. Now the tying run in a speedster heads to first. Johnson has allowed 4 in a row to get on base. And here comes Ross Peoples. It boggles my mind that this has happened 3 games in a row where the first man in out of the bullpen has not been able to get outs. The Ross will lift Johnson and go to Graham earlier than he planned to. Tying run is on with 1 out in the 7th inning. The big guns Rosario and Alfredo Gonzalez due up, and Josh Graham is asked to come in and douse the fire. Josh Graham is on in relief of Chase Johnson, who got the first out without any kind of an issue except for Garice barking about strike 3 with plate umpire Bill Reuter. And then Yovan Gonzalez singled, Scott Burcham walked, Anthony Seymour got one up onto the deck. Now Nick Heath walked after Johnson was seemingly comfortably ahead in the count. And Graham, who leads the club in holds, needs another one here. Jose Rosario, the batter. I can't see Nick Heath sticking it out at first base. 13 for 13 in stolen bases on the year. He doesn't take off initially. First pitch is a strike as Rosario flickered bunt. 0-1.
I want to try and get a read on Heath.
Graham is stranded, 7 of 10 inherited runners on the year. Tying run at first base in the 7th with just 1 out. And the tough part of the order is up. 0-1 on Rosario, floats outside, and he wouldn't go for it. That was the off-speed pitch that Graham will get a lot of swings and misses against. Rosario showing good discipline there. Alfredo Gonzalez waiting on deck. One ball, one strike. Fastball is away. And that spot seems to have disappeared.
He's flirting with that outside corner and just missing it.
2-1 now. Wild Health continues to lead Staten Island 3-0 there at the stretch. Gastonia has a 14-2 lead at York in the bottom of the 5th inning. Trying to get to 12-0 in the second half. They started the first half 10-1. They won 10 straight after the Barnstormers beat them opening night. Lexington up 5-1 over High Point in the 5th, and Long Island has Southern Maryland down 5-4 through 5.5 innings. Graham works to Rosario 2-1. He takes off, swing and a miss. There's a throw down, and it's not in time. He stole second.
Do you see that tag by Mercedes? I mean, that was a heck of a play to take it on the hop and then snap down and try and apply the tag to Heath.
I'll tell you, and I'd like to see it again, as you see Heath get off to a pretty good jump, and Mercedes with the rolling tag out at second base. 2 balls and 2 strikes, but the swing, that was borderline interfering with the throw.
You know, I was thinking the same thing because he came across the plate. Yes.
2 balls, 2 strikes now on Rosario at the tying run at second base. Popped up, foul territory, right side. Graham is over, directing traffic, and Peroni unable to make the play. It got into a tough spot, but it keeps the door open for Jose Rosario. 2 balls, 2 strikes continuing. Graham raced over as if he were going to make that play himself, and I think he might have forced the other two conceivably to slow down a step.
Well, I really would have liked to see Cordero take charge there because it's an easier play for him to come in on it.
It's right near the dugout steps, and Cordero might have been too far away. 2-2 on Rosario. That catch not made. Heath leads off second, and the pitch breaks off the outside corner. Now it is 3-2. As if the Barnstormers had been getting that call. Now they're not.
That is just off the plate. Too close to take, at least from this vantage point, but boy, what an at-bat by Rosario.
3 balls, 2 strikes. He's battling. Tying run in scoring position. Graham to the plate, bouncing ball past the mound. Bobbled by Mercedes. He'll get off the throw. It is in time at first, barely. 4-3. He takes the tying run over to third, and Alfredo Gonzalez will come to the plate.
There must have been a backspin on the ball because when it hit the grass, boy, did this thing slow down.
Mercedes kept it in front, snapped the throw. Good stretch by Andretti Cordero. In fact, great stretch by Andretti Cordero. They had him. He was out. 2 outs. Gonzalez the batter. He is 1 out of 3 here tonight. Doesn't matter how you get him with 2 outs in the inning, but the Barnstormers need to get a guy who has given them fits. Even one of the outs tonight took Torrance just about to the warning track and left. Heath at third with the tying run. Graham goes to work, and that is topped towards shortstop. Felice will snap it up, and Josh Graham has pitched the Barnstormers out of the inning with the lead. 3-run score, 2 hits with no errors. There was a man left. Graham comes on and rescues the inning. We're at the stretch, 4-3 Lancaster. False start for the Barnstormers offense tonight. That turned into a double play, but Andretti Cordero able to single in 1 run in the 3rd inning, and then Trayvon Robinson made sure no double play this time as he crushed the ball near the top of the hill in left. The Barnstormers with a 4-0 lead. Now we have another double play on a fly ball. Dunston heads up, throwing into second. The run did not count there. How big does that look right now? As Anthony Seymour gets Charleston within 1 on a 3-run homer of his own. We're going into the bottom of the 7th. The Barnstormers have a 1-run lead. You'll have Lair, Torrance, and Dunston stepping in against the right-handed reliever Nate Peden, whom we've already seen twice in this series.
Well, 2 things jump out at me right now. Charleston 3 times tonight has left a runner at 3rd base. And now, how big are those 3 double plays that Charleston was able to turn on Lancaster when they had opportunities to possibly pick up some more runs? That sets the scenario now for this 1-run game late in the contest.
The Barnstormers need to get 6 more outs tonight. You'd love to see some insurance runs on the board. Josh Graham will stay in the game for the top half of the 8th inning. He's only 8 pitches in, and you get a look at young Nate Peden, who has pitched extremely well so far in this series, covering 3 innings. He has walked 3, but he struck out 5 and only allowed 1 hit. You get a look at Peden's overall numbers. He's been around this league a little bit the last couple of years. Started this year with the Genomes. He's pitched better since arriving in Charleston. The starter, Michael Gunn, goes 6 tonight, gives up 7 hits, 4 runs. First pitch swinging is Trace Lair. What is this concept? He fouls it into the 3rd base seats. It's 0-1. Lair tonight is 1 for 2 and really hasn't been close to a walk.
No.
Gunn walked 2. Mercedes 1 and Torrance the other. He struck out 1.
And again, you take that 4th inning away, and it's been a heck of an outing for Gunn. Or, excuse me, 3rd inning.
He pitched very well here tonight. Barnstormers ahead by a run, looking to give the bullpen some breathing room here. 1 strike to Lair. And that is pounded out to left. Sprinting back on this is Beltre. He'll be there, turning to make the catch. Well hit by Lair. 1 out, though. And Devon Torrance will step in. Torrance has walked and singled.
Well, he stung it, but Beltre had him played perfectly.
I thought that ball would go a little deeper than it did.
Yeah.
I thought if Beltre were going to catch up to that one, he would have to take a few more steps to get it. He just turned and it was there. Torrance is in. The last 6 Barnstormers have been retired since the Mercedes single. And now Torrance with a liner to center, but also that will be caught. 2 straight batters have been all over Nate Peden, but it's 2 outs and nobody on with Dunston stepping in. And he's going to have to take a pitch or 2, I would think.
Yeah, just to give Graham some extra time to catch his breath.
It wasn't a long inning for Graham.
No.
He faced 2 batters, 8 pitches.
But this is back-to-back at-bats now from Torrance that we've seen him making good contact. So again, maybe the repetition of getting at-bats.
Dunston gets a ball inside. That's a little bit of a gift. Sean is 1 for 3. He did hit into a double play his last time up. The 1-0 fouled away. And it looks like the Barnstormers have now seen Peden enough. Maybe they're getting a little bit locked in. But he'll take those 2 line drive outs to the outfielders. Longy, Beltre, and Goris are scheduled in the 8th against Graham. Here's a 1-1 on Dunston. Sean will loop a foul out of play to the 3rd base side and bat at 1-2. Barnstormers have not scored outside of the 3rd inning. And they really haven't had, because of the double plays, they've only, outside of that inning, had 2 batters over the minimum at the plate. 1-2, another foul. Well, Dunston doing the job of extending the inning, a few more pitches. Look at that elbow guard. That thing's huge.
Shin guard, elbow guard.
Upstairs, he held on the swing. 2-2. It's like he stuck his arm in a piece of duct. That thing's huge. Peden has the signal from the catcher Gonzalez, fouled away, and will do it all again. 6 pitches have gone by since Dunston stepped in the box. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sean's hitting streak alive at 10. Mercedes at 16. Here is a 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball just a shade high.
Peden thought he had it. I think Dunston was waiting for it as well. I think he thought that was strike 3.
3-2 to Sean. He is 6 out of 15 against Charleston. And he is having a ridiculous homestand. The payoff pitch, that one will be strike 3 called. Peden comes on, shuts down the Barnstormers again. It looks like Lancaster's bullpen is going to have to take this one home. We'll go to the 8th inning. Still 4-3 Barnstormers. The Barnstormers continue to lead by 1. The bullpen has appeared starting in the 7th inning. Chase Johnson with an off night. Josh Graham came in, rescued that inning. He now has to get through Longy, Beltre, and Goris in the top of the 8th. And if Graham does his job, a 3-batter inning here, West Tunnel, you would have to figure, will come on for the 9th. And he still has to get through Anthony Seymour, and not much going wrong for Seymour here tonight.
No. Been busy at the plate, has been active out in the field, at least early on.
And then he dropped the one fly ball. That's been the only thing that has blemished Seymour's night. They're cheering in the Bahamas. If we go there. What I understand, YouTube is limited to the U.S. I mean,
is it?
Somebody told me they tried to watch in Canada a couple of years ago and couldn't.
Didn't
but
have
I guess
passport?
no, they do now. They do now. I know Cameron Gann's dad watches from Canada. Fouled away. It's 0-1 on Longy, who has struck out twice and been hit by a pitch tonight. Again, 6 shutout innings for Oscar De La Cruz. Barnstormers trying to keep the win intact for him. Foul ball back to the screen. Eric trying to do his best impersonation of Adam Gochnauer and save me from a foul ball. That was just a commercial. It was all make-believe. 0-2. But Adam, I know, would do it anyhow.
So that was staged.
Yeah. You think? 0-2. Graham goes to work on Longy, and the pitch off the glove of Anthony Peroni in ball 1. fooled his catcher on that. Ball 1, 2 strikes. Leadoff batter in the 8th inning.
You know, just getting back to that YouTube, have you ever heard from anybody that said they were watching and just how far away from Lancaster they were?
Well, certainly all over the continental U.S. There's a swing and a miss. That is Graham's bread and butter. 7 strikeouts for the Lancaster staff tonight. 1 out. Beltry will stand in.
You haven't heard anybody saying, hey, watching from
Europe or Asia,
Seattle or...
Well, yes, that I have.
Okay.
Certainly, definitely well out west. 1 out, nobody on. Beltry tonight is 0 for 2 with a walk, but you got to be careful with him. He has hit 7 home runs this year. Inside from Graham around the hitter's knees. Ball 1-0. Diego Goris, the shortstop, waits on deck. So 3 in a row set down by Graham. He needs to get 2 more without anything happening in this 8th inning. You don't want to get Rosario and Gonzalez back up at any point in this game. 1 ball and no strikes to Beltray. He goes for it and misses. It is 1-1. This is where if you have hitters at the plate that you know are vulnerable to off-speed pitches, Graham's the guy you want out there, because not that his fastball is bad at all, it isn't, but his secondary stuff is as good as I've seen. 1 ball, 1 strike to Beltray. Line drive into center field, and the tying run is on. Charleston stays on the attack. Goris will step in. He is 0 for 3.
No, just left that one a little flat over the plate, and Beltray was right on it.
The Dirty Birds have been very successful stealing bases tonight, and I think they may be going for another one here. Beltray is 6 out of 9 on the year. 1 out, runner on. Goris, the batter. He is 0 for 3. He has struck out looking twice. The pressure continues to be applied here in the late innings. Goris takes ball 1 inside. It is 1-0. Mercedes, Cordero, and Robinson scheduled in the bottom of the 8th inning. This Charleston team has fought tooth and nail in this series. They've got a side-arming lefty warming up in the bullpen. 1-0 on Goris to the outside corner with the fastball. It is 1-1.
Now, Lancaster was able to turn 1 double play tonight, and it was a big one because that ended a very serious threat by Charleston back in the 4th inning. And boy, Josh Graham would love to get one here.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Beltray held by Cordero at first. He hasn't broken yet. Graham to the plate, and it's lined toward the gap, right center field. Racing over on it is Robinson. He'll cut it off. To third goes Beltray with the tying run. Goris is on with the lead run, and Jovan Gonzalez will come to the plate. A double play is now pretty desperately needed for the Lancaster Barnstormers.
Well, you knew Beltray was going to go to third, but Robinson did a nice job to cut that off and keep Goris to a single. If that gets by him or it's a little bit deeper, Goris is going to take second base and get a double. So nice job by Robinson. Still gives Lancaster an opportunity to get out of this inning with a double play.
The Barnstormers bullpen had been lights out until this series. Charleston somehow has figured out the pattern. First and third with 1 out. Gonzalez stands in. He's 1 for 3, and he's hit the ball hard the last 2 times up. Graham to the plate, strike 1 to the outside corner. If Lair fields a ground ball, he'll have the option of coming to the plate or going to second, depending on the scenario. But right now, he is up. Gonzalez, 0-1 against Graham. High set by the right-hander. He'll bring it home and get strike 2 on the outside corner.
Well, those pitches he wasn't getting earlier in the inning, now starting to paint the black on the outside.
The Barnstormers led 4-0 with 1 out in the 7th. 3 runs came across there, and now a threat for Charleston in the 8th. 2 strikes to Jovan Gonzalez. Here is the pitch. He wouldn't bite for it. Ball 1 and 2 strikes. Peroni with the block.
Now, do you come back with the breaking ball again?
Change up, I think, but we'll see. Graham pitched an inning and 2/3 here on Sunday, and also an inning on Friday, his 3rd appearance of the series. 2-2. That was a fastball outside and low, but now you almost have to throw a strike. Beltre at 3rd, Goris at 1st. They've got some speed between them. Jovan Gonzalez batting at 2-2. Lancaster up just by 1. And the Lancaster offense has not been able to produce anything since the 4th inning. We saw something similar on Friday night, and Charleston roared past for the 8-4 win.
Climb the ladder.
Here's a 2-2. Ground ball, third base. Lair snaps it up, goes to second, 1. Back to first. Stretched by Cordero, but the throw gets away, and that will allow the tying run to score. It'll be an earned run. The Barnstormers had it set up 5-4, and Mercedes made a wide throw on Cordero. No error to be charged there with the runner holding it first. There's the double play ground ball. The throw by Mercedes was wild. Graham had made the pitch. Lair made the play. Mercedes really didn't have to rush it, but he made a bad throw, and we're tied at 4. Scott Burcham is batting with Gonzalez, the runner, at 1st and 2 outs. A couple of times now, the Barnstormers have failed to turn the ground ball double play tonight.
Yeah.
The first time it ended up not costing them. They got a break on the next play. But this one hurts. Ball 2 is inside on Burcham, and you can't fault Lair for anything. The throw to second was perfect.
Yeah, and that was not an easy play for Lair either. He had to play it on the short hop. Had the accurate throw, but unfortunately the throw from Mercedes to first was wide.
2-0, fouled back by Burcham off the fastball. It's 2-1.
And now it negates De La Cruz from picking up a win here tonight, which was really well deserved on his part.
Scott Burcham bats at 2-1. The lead run at first base now with 2 outs. Graham got the ground ball that Barnstormers were looking for. But the defense tonight in the infield has been a little bit out of sync. It's the second bad throw on a possible double play. 2-1. Graham to the plate. The fastball is there. A second strike. 2-2 on Burcham, and he barks at Bill Reuter.
I don't know if you really want to contest a call with a judge.
Here's the 2-2 toward the middle, and that is through for a base hit, and also slows down. Sprinting for third is Gonzalez. And Anthony Seymour now will bat with runners at 1st and 3rd and 2 outs. And even if you get through him, now you've got to come back around and see Rosario and Gonzalez again.
Well, and we even said it between innings. Lancaster really needed a 1-2-3 inning here in the 8th.
Well, even if you get the double play.
Yeah.
As now Ross Peoples is coming out. If you turn that double play on Jovan Gonzalez, it's still a 4-3 game. You have the 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up, and you don't necessarily have to face Alfredo Gonzalez. Now you do. So West Tunnel will take over. Graham got the Barnstormers out of the 7th, can't get them through the 8th inning. He ends up pitching 1 1/3, and now you're asking Tunnel to come in and throw an inning and a third and hope that your ball club can produce a run in the bottom of the 8th inning. Runners at 1st and 3rd for the Dirty Birds. We'll take a break and look for one more out when we come back. Here is Wes Tunnel, who's been the closer. No save available for him tonight. He has got to get the Barnstormers out of this inning. Tunnel 5 for 5 in save opportunities. He gets to face Anthony Seymour, who needs a triple for the cycle. As a Barnstormer, Tunnel 1-0. His ERA is 2.88. Seymour doubled to left in the third inning, single to right in the fifth, and then homered up onto the deck in the seventh inning. Lead run over at third. That is Yovan Gonzalez there. Scott Burcham at first. Here's the pitch to Seymour. Swing and a miss. No balls and one strike. And Tunnel needs to get the first out here. Barnstormers will be facing a submarine throwing lefty, it appears, in the eighth inning. I think that's the player coach Testa.
Yes. Number 12.
0-1 fastball, foul on a line drive down the first base side.
And a new bat.
2 strikes to Anthony Seymour. Charleston's come all the way back. The Barnstormers led 4-0 into the seventh inning. Joe Testa getting ready.
Yeah, that is quite the delivery.
There haven't been too many side-arming lefties from that angle in this league. The Barnstormers back in 12 had Morales at the end of the year. I can't think of his first name now. I'm really upset with myself.
Well, they had the right-hander.
Steven Morales. Of course, they've had right-handers. They've had a lot of those. Siegel and Watanabe and Granitz. 0-2. Fouled at the plate. Seymour. That line's too obvious. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Eric can read my mind. He knew where I was going, and it was not in good territory at all. No balls, 2 strikes. Seymour standing in with runners at the corners. Runner from first bluffs. A breaking ball badly outside. No harm there. It's 1-2 on Seymour. Gonzalez at third, Burcham at first. So they don't have the speed combination they've had otherwise here. So they're pretty much going to have to rely, I think, on Anthony Seymour to pick up a 4th base hit out of this number 9 spot in the order. 1-2 from Tunnel. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. West Tunnel keeps the ball game tied. A run, 3 hits, and 2 left for Charleston. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Barnstormers get to face something they have not seen all year. Barnstormers have the extra at bat to try and pull out a victory here tonight. But it's been Charleston with 4 unanswered runs, and they go to their player coach Joe Testa coming on here in the bottom half of the 8th inning, and look at this angle of delivery. You don't see it too often. He's just 5'10", 175, whips it around from the side. From Jackson, New Jersey, Testa, 36 years of age. He was on the staff in West Virginia last year and climbed into the dual role this season. You want to talk about a veteran of the game. Testa has been around since he signed with the Minnesota Twins back in 2008 as a non-drafted free agent out of Wagner College. He eventually worked his way to Double-A, pitched in Harrisburg at one point back in 2012, and then he's been in and out of the Atlantic League, staying around home for a while. Pitched in Newark, pitched in Camden, pitched in Somerset, pitched for Long Island. So this is his 15. A ball and no strikes to Melvin Mercedes. 1 for 2 with a walk for Mercedes tonight. Testa's pitch is a strike taken at the letters, and that one I think was still climbing when it came across the zone.
In pretty good control, just 10 walks in 37 2/3 innings.
1 ball and 1 strike. Testa to the plate. Mercedes chops this to first, and a brand new first baseman will take it alone. 3 unassisted. That play made by Denson Hall, who is either that is Denson Hall or somebody wearing the jersey he had been assigned.
Uh-oh.
But it isn't Nick Longy.
No.
That Hall, I believe, is a two-way player. It's 3 unassisted on Mercedes. Here is Cordero, who is 2 for 3. 9 Barnstormers in a row have been retired. And that's where you get a little antsy with this 4-4 game. The offense has to fire back up. Testa to Cordero. It is high for a ball, 1-0. Robinson is on deck. Felice in the hole. Top of the order, Heath Rosario and Alfredo Gonzalez in the 9th. Cordero line drive, base hit into right center field. The 3rd of the night for Andretti, who now has 68 runs batted in for the year. He leads the league in hits. For Cordero, that base hit is number 103 on the season.
Wow.
Go ahead run on for the Barnstormers with Trayvon Robinson stepping in. 3 singles tonight for Andretti Cordero, and he could make a run at the batting title.
Yeah, let's string a couple of these things together here this inning.
To Robinson, it is low for a ball, 1-0. What I'd like to see here is a pitch getaway. Cordero's not a base stealer. He just has a couple. He's been caught twice. You'd like to see that run move into scoring position. Charleston has gone into the no doubles. The 1-0 pitch bounced foul by Robinson. The count levels at a ball and a strike. Look where the third baseman Burcham is on that last shot.
Oh my.
Robinson with a couple of fly balls outside of that booming home run to left field tonight. Cordero gets a little flip throw over there toward first base.
Yeah, if we had more of a base stealer on base right now, because, you know, Testa has a slide step, but he's not a power pitcher. So you can get a good jump.
1-1, high and inside to Robinson. 2 balls and 1 strike. The reason that you would like to see the runner at second base, Testa, coming from that angle, is going to get a lot of ground balls. Again, a soft toss over to first. Andretti is back. You have to think that Testa's got another gear. Here's a 2-1 now. Check swing. Trayvon works it to 3 balls and a strike. First time Testa has pitched in this series. It's his 20th appearance overall this season. He started 3 times earlier. Robinson bats 3-1. And the pitch. Trayvon goes to right center field. Will they get to this one? They try, but they do not. That ball is into the gap. Cordero will go to third. Robinson into second with a double. And now the Barnstormers have the lead run 90 feet away. 10th double for Trayvon Robinson. Had there been 2 outs, that would have produced a run. But Cordero could not be sure that Heath and Seymour would both be unable to get there.
Well, and the right base running move by Cordero as well. Go about halfway down the line towards second. Ball fell in. He wasn't going to try. He wasn't going to score, but at least get to third base, and Robinson gets into second. So you got 2 guys in scoring position with 1 out, and now you need that big hit.
Anderson Felice will be walked intentionally to set up the double play. Tyler Hill will be the batter. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of ground balls here tonight. 4-4, each side now with 9 hits in the game. And the Barnstormers, big 4 at the top of the order, all with at least 1 of those hits.
And you said Testa is a guy that induces ground balls. Hill has got to avoid that ground ball.
Because Charleston has turned the double plays tonight when they've had to, and the Barnstormers have missed out on their 2 chances. To Hill, it is a strike, 0-1. Peroni is on deck. Lancaster needs a fly ball here. And a fly ball at reasonable depth, or at least one not hit to Seymour. No balls and a strike to Hill. He swings and misses at that. It is 0-2. And if Hill and Peroni do not come through here, or if they get a double play here, it's the top of the order in the 9th inning for Charleston and the bottom of the order for the Barnstormers. So that's why you really want to get a run across right now. 0-2 pitch. He goes down swinging. Tyler Hill fans, and it's up to Anthony Peroni. Bases loaded with 2 outs. Intentionally walking Anderson Felice, looking like a great move for Billy Horn, and when you stop to think about it, a pretty natural one. Peroni batting with the bases loaded. As you know, that's not been a particular strength of this ball club this year. Anthony is 1 for 2 with the sacks full. Here's a pitch, and that's a cross for a strike. It is 0-1. Testa on the verge of pitching his way out of it. 4-4. Line totals are even. 4 runs, 9 hits, 1 error both ways. To Peroni, 0-1, outside and low. A ball and a strike. The Barnstormers will take anything right now. Wild pitch, pass ball, error. All the way up the line to grand slam, which would be the royal flush of opportunities. Outside and ball 2. Anthony Peroni batting at 2 balls and a strike against Joe Testa with the bases loaded, 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Cordero at third with Robinson and Felice trailing. To Peroni, it's ball 3. Testa's got to come into him. 3 balls and a strike. We left out bases loaded walk.
Oh, yeah.
3-1. The count on Peroni. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Testa to the plate, strike 2. So we've gone as far as it will go here. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Peroni. And the Barnstormers have gotten a single, a double in this inning, along with the intentional walk. I should also point out, Heath cut the Robinson double off before it got to the gate. Fans will yell for the balk, but he had come off the mound. Perfectly legal on the part of Joe Testa. He wanted to see what the runners might be up to there. They're going to be leaving early. 3-2 on Peroni. The pitch is fouled to the screen. We get to do it all once more. Tie game, bottom of the 8th. Anthony Peroni, 0 for 3 tonight, trying to deliver.
Go back to that pitch on 3-1. That pitch floated in at 68 miles an hour. That probably looked like a batting practice pitch. Just out of the zone.
Payoff to Peroni once again from Testa. Here's the 3-2 runners go. Slow chopper back toward the mound. Testa will spin and make a high throw to first. Safe! Safe on the air, and the Barnstormers sneak a second run home. Robinson comes in as well at 6-4. Testa made a high throw, and the first baseman, Hall, came off the bag, slipped, couldn't get back. It will be an error, and the Barnstormers take a lead in a very unusual way. Testa lobbing the throw to first. He had to come off the bag, couldn't get back. Peroni was there, and it's a 2-run lead. The other guys pick up an extra base. Testa, in trying to make sure the throw, was a little too soft with it and a little errant. Right on that call, Steve Zawiski, he made the right one.
Oh, yeah, and you could see Hull couldn't get his footing. His feet started to slide underneath him, and that's why he couldn't fully extend to the base.
Here's Lair taking a strike. It is 0-1.
What is it about these throws to first base in this last week or so?
6-4 Lancaster now. E1 charged to Testa. Lair batting now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Felice over at third. Peroni safe at first on the error. That's why you want to put the ball in play. Something like that might happen.
Yeah.
Lair bats 1-1, takes the breaking ball up. 2 balls and a strike. Well, it looked like the Barnstormers were out of the top of this inning and made a bad throw. And it looked like Charleston was out of the bottom of the inning, and they make a bad throw. Here's a 2-1 on Lair, over at the knees for a second strike. It's now 2-2. Devon Torrance waiting on deck. Tunnel still has to get through Heath, Rosario, and Alfredo Gonzalez.
Oh, boy.
And to Lair, ball 3 is outside, filling the count. Peroni will be on the run.
What a strange turn of events. My goodness.
Here's a 3-2. Laird tries to drive it down the left field line. He clears Ross with the liner, but that doesn't do any good. Still 3-2. He's very good, Trace is, going to the left side against left-handed pitching.
You know, these 2 runs are nice, but you got a 3rd run 90 feet away. You want to get him home as well. Give Tunnel as much cushion as you can going into the 9th.
Here's the payoff pitch. Strike 3 called at the knees. Well, the Barnstormers aren't able to get the clutch hit, but they get the clutch error. 2 runs are home on the 2 hits and the 1 error. They leave 2 on base. Now we go to the 9th, and West Tunnel will try to bring it home with the score 6-4 Lancaster. Beautiful, albeit very hot, definitely midsummer evening here in Lancaster, and we've seen some crazy turns of events tonight.
You're not kidding.
Bad throws leading to the tying run in the top of the 8th inning and the go-ahead runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. And now it is up to West Tunnel. Not a save opportunity. He is in line for the win tonight. He's trying to hold on to it for himself. That he's got to run the gauntlet of Heath, Rosario, and Alfredo Gonzalez in this top of the 9th inning. And that, as you know, will not be easy.
Now, when you're a relief pitcher and a closer, and you're coming in the 8th inning to protect a lead, and you're coming in the 9th now and going for the win, ooh, that's not what you're there for. You're there to shut the door, but unfortunately that 8th inning got away from Lancaster. But hey, they'll take a win. As ugly as it was at times, and you know, Charleston's had base running blunders, they've had fielding blunders, they've left 3 times runners at third base, 4 times tonight. So they've had opportunities.
Here is Heath. He is 0 for 3 with a walk. Tunnel will bring home a breaking ball to start off the inning. It's a cross for a strike. It is 0-1.
That was a beauty too. When that left his hands, I thought that was outside.
Now the 0-1, breaking ball again. Check swing, he went, says Dave Shirk. And he finds himself in a no ball, 2-strike hole.
Let's see it.
Now, both teams at times tonight have shot themselves in the foot. But I think the Dirty Birds at the moment have gotten a couple more toes. 0-2. Tunnel goes back to another breaking ball. This one misses. It's 1-2. Well, at some point here, you would expect Tunnel to go full velocity.
Yeah.
Seymour struck out against him back in the 8th inning to finish that off. 1-2, the count to Heath. There's the fastball, strike 3 called.
Wow, great spot too.
You knew it was coming. Heath says, no, sir, that was outside, sir. 1 out, and Nick Heath giving it to Bill Reuter, and now they'll try to intervene. 1 out with nobody on base.
And again, hard to see from our angle.
Billy Horn trying to get an explanation from Bill Reuter.
But Baroni did not need to move
one. He doesn't like the explanation, but he got one. And walks away with that look of disbelief and mopping the brow. No, it's 1 out. Here's Jose Rosario. We still have to get one of these next 2 batters at least. You want both. But Rosario and Gonzalez have had great series. Rosario has a home run. He's been a very tough out. He's walked quite a bit. He's 5 out of 11 with 6 walks, and he draws ball 1. High and inside from Tunnel. West with 2 strikeouts since coming on. Lancaster's pitching tonight has struck out 9 now. Rosario's had a nice series on both sides of the ball. Breaking ball is there. Make it 1-1.
I don't know if Trace Lair is anticipating Rosario, maybe trying to drop down a bunt, but he keeps creeping up to the grass.
One ball, 1 strike. Tunnel again with the hook, and that's strike 2.
Well, he's got good stuff tonight.
Wes Tunnel was a tremendous closer pre-pandemic in the Arizona organization. Coming out of the pandemic, didn't fare as well. That year off affected people differently. The conditions of minor league baseball coming back were different. Just fouled off by Rosario on the inside heater. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That wreaked havoc with baseball careers too. Sitting out a year. And then when they came back, teams were carrying longer rosters. You didn't get as much playing time, as much reps, as many innings, as many at-bats, unless you were a premium prospect. Ball 1, 2 strikes. Tunnel ready to go. Rosario has to get out of the way in a hurry. High and tight, that one. Ooh. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Rosario hit the deck hard. He is walking off the fall.
Wow.
Tunnel just missed him, but he landed awkwardly, I think, on that left elbow when he went down.
Oh, the right elbow. Yeah.
Yeah, was it the right? No, he's talking things over with the trainer, MC Sykes, getting a little doctoring over there. Say these trainers more and more are the amount of knowledge they have about the human body. No longer is it that guy who taped ankles and brought the guy their chew or whatever and bags of it's not that anymore. These guys are guys, and in many cases in both these clubs, ladies are true medical professionals. 2-2. He started, he went. Rosario is gone. Third straight strikeout for Tunnel.
Let's see it.
He did. No, Alfredo Gonzalez cannot tie the game, and I think that's where the Barnstormers wanted this. Gonzalez 1 for 4 here tonight.
And that's a great pitch, too, especially after the last one that went up and in. Why not throw it in the dirt and see how Rosario reacts?
Well, it's
and you
pretty
can
obvious
see.
Rosario was shaken, too.
Oh, absolutely. I was shaking, and I'm sitting up here.
2 outs with Alfredo Gonzalez stepping in. Tonight, just 1 for 4 with a deep fly out to left. A 2-run lead, so the Barnstormers are not in the no doubles. They're deep against Gonzalez, who's displayed incredible power in this series. Fastball a little too close. It is ball 1. On deck is that first base spot where Hull took over from Longy, and ultimately that played into the Barnstormers' hands. 1 ball, no strikes to Gonzalez. Tunnel will come back and miss in the dirt for ball 2. So you can't walk him here. A walk is as bad as giving up the home run, but Tunnel has fallen behind 2-0. And on deck is a right-handed batter. And Hull is listed as a switch hitter. That's up. So you're now really risking bringing the tying run to the plate. 3 balls, no strikes on Alfredo Gonzalez. Should we have to go to the bottom of the 9th, it would be Torrance, Dunston, and Mercedes. And it's Segrist warming up in the pen. 3-0, the count on Alfredo Gonzalez after back-to-back strikeouts for Tunnel here in this 9th inning. And the 3-0 pitch is too close. West giving up a walk, and that will get the tying run to the plate. 5 walks now issued by the Barnstormers tonight. So
nothing's easy, is it?
Hold on. It looked so simple for Tunnel. He had struck out 3 batters in a row. Not much going on. Two outs, runner at first base. And the pitch, strike taken. I don't think this is Denson Hall, who has no background as professionally a position player.
So you're thinking it's a number change.
I can't be sure one way or the other. But Hull is listed as a switch hitter. He'd be batting left-handed if that's true. Slider is away. It is a ball and a strike, but I can't tell who it is. So for the moment, it's Hull.
Well, there's an updated roster that came out today.
Up and in. You got Beltre on deck. Now 2 balls and a strike here on a guy batting for the first time. But I can't think of anybody else this could be as I look at the roster. 2-1. Now the Barnstormers are in the no doubles. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tunnel needs 1 more. Lancaster 6, Charleston 4. Top of the 9th. 2 outs and a runner at first base. Two and 2. The pitch. He got him. A swing and a miss. Tunnel fans the side around the walk, and the Barnstormers hold on for the 6-4 victory here tonight. 1 man left in the top of the 9th. This second half is golden for a club that could not win a close game in the first half. The team is now above 500 for the first time for the entire season since opening night, and they're now 11-2 here in the second half. This homestand has gone better than you could have ever possibly wanted, with the Barnstormers winning at 11 out of 12.
And you said going into the second half, they'd have to go 9-5 on the homestand. They're going to go for win number 12 tomorrow.
Everything going the Barnstormers' way. It's the kind of half that Southern Maryland had the first half of this schedule, and now the Barnstormers getting the ball rolling their way in the second half, and they are rolling tonight. The 6-4 win over the Charleston Dirty Birds. West Tunnel picks up the victory over Joe Testa. Big home runs for Robinson on the side of the Barnstormers, Seymour on the side of the Dirty Birds. That'll do it for us tonight. Pete Andrelzik will be jumping in tomorrow. So for my partner Eric May and the folks in the truck and the folks on the cameras and all the cast and crew at Clipper Magazine Stadium, I'm Dave Collins. Have a great evening, everyone, and come tomorrow night, we'll see you at the ballpark.